Futures continuing to slide, extending losses from last week, I should say, as we continue to watch overall Treasuries moving higher again this week. The U.S. 10-year back to 1.83, the highest level since January of 2020, putting pressure once again on big tech stocks. So all the leaders in the tech sector, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft to the downside. Obviously, deal news just coming out here involving Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, nearly an $80 billion deal getting done there. Microsoft buying ATVI. We'll talk about that coming up. It has been big tech, though, that's been under pressure last week and for the most part since the beginning of the brand new trading year as investors continue to watch interest rates moving higher. We have a Fed meeting coming up next week, in fact, so the first one set to go pretty soon here as far as maybe getting interest rates moving higher right across the board. Goldman Sachs out this morning with their latest report, trading equity or trading net revenues to the downside for GS, similar to some of the bank earnings we saw back on Friday. So Goldman trading lower, and then it's going to be all about Apple. It's going to be all about Microsoft. It's going to be all about Activision Blizzard, as we said. ATVI up 38% right now, still halted, $95 per share in cash. All cash deal for Activision Blizzard. It's Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at, more red numbers, unfortunately, outside of the oil markets, 1.7 to the upside for crude oil. Again, we'll talk about some of the energy stocks because, recent highs, again, for crude oil. So nice look for XOM, for Oxy this morning as well, both extending gains, in fact, right now here in the pre-market. Otherwise, a 1% kind of day to the downside at least. Right across the board, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, extending declines from last week that we saw. We got down to around that 41,000 mark for Bitcoin over the weekend. But pretty negative look once again to kick things off for a brand new trading week here. Holiday shortened trading week, obviously. Hope everyone enjoyed their long holiday weekend. If you missed the news out just moments ago there, Microsoft picking up Activision Blizzard. $95 per share, all cash deals. So big headlines to start things off. There we go. Formatically a little different this morning, but hey, we're all here. Good morning, guys. It's a little snowy here still in Toronto, but we all got here today, barely. But it's an interesting look to a brand new week here. I'm just seeing, guys, EA Sports starting to go a little bit here. Some of the other video game makers getting some attention as well.
Yeah, I was watching. I mean, Skills made a bit of a move, like you said. EA making some moves as well. It's a good morning, and it's a big deal. Obviously, $95 in cash, $80 billion for Activision. So that's going to come on the wire. And now we're going to pay attention to it. I do expect. It looks like it'll probably, because it's disseminated now. Watching EA, but now that it's disseminated, it's probably going to be opened back up before they open. At least the stock is ATVI. I'll have it on watch. Of course, hope everyone enjoyed MLK Day yesterday. I know despite the crazy blizzard we had, I know I had a good weekend because the Bills were perfect. Your team didn't have to play, so obviously it didn't really matter what the Packers. I don't know what the Packers are doing. Probably chilling out, having a few pints, enjoying some decent football. But I mean, the Bills crushed. It's as simple as that. So I'm in a pretty good mood here. We'll definitely be trading some Activision today, without a doubt. But there's other things on tap. I mean, the Lucid lockup tomorrow. You got a few more bank earnings that weren't bad, but the reaction to them is going to be pretty weak. Energy is strong. Tech is getting hit once again. Lots to get to today. Should be an exciting day.
Yeah, I just realized now you got to pay for some shorts here. Got to pay for some Lucid. Got to pay for some Rivi and things like that. Yeah, welcome, guys. Yeah, it should be a monster one. I went short initially on Microsoft, and then good thing it was an all-cash deal, so we don't not diluting the shares of the monster Microsoft that we have. So, so far so good. But yeah, looking at Lucid today on the lockup, it should be fantastic. We absolutely. I mean, I don't know if gambling's just become easier in the NFL or what, but this weekend was probably the most profitable weekend like I've ever had in the NFL. Everything was coming through. Touchdown scores. I gave you guys a plus 470 or 60 parlay on Friday that hit. Like, it was an absolutely amazing weekend. And yeah, good to be back here off 3 days. We'll see if we can rock and roll here. Obviously, we're going to be looking at Microsoft, Lucid, Rivian. I wrote down AMC as well, as that's starting to go to the downside. Looks like it'll open up sub 20. So that's going to be something to look at here on AMC. So yeah, it should be a really, really fun day here today. It's Tuesday, and yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. The lockup for Lucid should be fun tomorrow.
Going to be pretty active here already, in fact, for Lucid in the pre-market. I want to talk about, we'll get to some of the crypto markets as well. A bit of a move down over the weekend, as we said. Silvergate out with earnings this morning as well. The other notable name as far as earnings this morning before we do. Miss V is back in her normal chair to my left. Good morning.
Good morning, team. I hope you had a great long weekend and ready for a productive trading week. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys. Lots to get through here before we get to the open this morning. Here's Silvergate, SI, to the downside this morning, along with, obviously, it's going to follow Bitcoin a little bit here anyways. But the other notable earnings name out here in the pre-market missing on their Q4 numbers. So a bit of a slide, to say the least, back to 120. We're into some of these important levels here, it's worth saying, for SI.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to follow Bitcoin a little bit, but it hasn't really as much. The key thing to understand about this here is, yeah, they missed on earnings, but they had a six-fold increase on transfers, on crypto transfers. It held six-fold to over 800 million, and they still earned like $20 million, right? So huge deposits, but not making any money. In this environment, that's not going to be good for them. Like we said before, for the things that rose the fastest, understand how far they can come back in and how quickly they can do so. And there's never, no matter how bad it looks on the way up, you can cry and whine and feel like you're an idiot for selling things way too early or getting out a bunch way too early. But when they unwind, sometimes it'll feel like maybe it was a good decision. I still don't necessarily think it was greatly timed on the way back up, personally for myself. But we are now finally headed back into this like $100 cluster. I expect us to get there. I don't think it matters too much. I mean, look, Bitcoin can hold 40,000. I still think you're probably headed back down to retest some support. That's what's happening to names that are not putting in, that are not making the type of money that would justify their valuations. That's just the simple reality in this market, right? Like, a firm's probably headed to the $55 to $60 area. Silvergate's probably headed to maybe even 80s, but like probably at least to the $90 to $100 price area. And you got to anticipate some of these things can happen because that's still from when its run started, still a double up from where it was. So you got to really start thinking about like how far these can unwind. And it's not just the high valuation type of names. I mean, you can see what's going to happen here when we get these pullbacks, when rates start to go up, when we see the 10-year start to move, you see these cracks come in, and yeah, I'm not saying it's not about there being blood in the water. It's just about recognizing that you have a clear trend reversal here in a lot of these types of names. So, I looked at that and it's like, yeah, sure, they missed, but there was worse things in the report than just that. It's the fact that they were getting good growth in a lot of segments and still not making money. That's going to weigh on them probably for the next quarter, which means you got to wait for it to fall a little bit further. So not the greatest day trading stock in the world because it doesn't do a ton of volume, but this is just another into that bucket where it was all fun on the way up, but you had to make sure you found your exit.
Yeah, I have no interest in Silvergate. Never have. Didn't even realize they were reporting. So I'll just pass on that one. But I mean, I was looking at Coinbase. I don't think you buy any of these names, really. There's just too many high quality names out there. I think, Neil, like what Neil was saying, it's at 120 and you said it might go to 80. So, I mean, you got 50% more downside there in SI. I don't even know what's going to happen here in Coinbase. So, I mean, I just look at this as, just keep trading the best names, man. Keep trading the softies, the Facebooks, things like that. Buy stuff that you know. And if you want to own Bitcoin, man, just own Bitcoin. Like, don't own any of these companies, in my opinion.
Take two as well, getting a little bit of a bump off of this ATVI. As we said, 150, I guess, was a decent level there. So take two, TTWO up 3.5%. Obviously, if you missed it. Here's another kind of interesting angle here. There's been lots of headlines the end of last year and then into this year as well surrounding ATVI for not so positive reasons. Bobby Kotick, CEO, to remain on even after this deal gets done, guys. So again, 95 per share in cash for ATVI.
Yeah, and looks like there's now a trade resumption time. It'll be 8:50. So yeah, it looks like 10 minutes, and we're going to be open up in Activision. If you're ever curious about how to check that, if you're new, NASDAQ trader.com, and they have a trade halts page where you can see the reason why something is halted. You can also see here trade resumption time 8:50. So this one will be opened up. $95. There's a couple ways to look at it. I mean, it is a hefty premium if you look at the previous close, but if you were to, and I'm just going to loosely in my head sort of pick at what you might have as a rolling like 90-day average. And it's probably closer to like 30-something%, and maybe not as much as it was from the bottoms. I know we closed at 65, but this is a stock that was at $90. I mean, just go back to last summer when this was at $90, and even higher than that if you go earlier in the year. So yes, it's a hefty price tag. I think I mean, there's not going to be anyone bidding anymore. So this is a one company bid show, and it's going to be softy for cash. So I can't see any reason why it should trade too close to the price. Time value, money, those kinds of things should keep it away from 95. I'd be shocked if we broke that price on the reopen. If it does, I'd probably be looking to fade it. There's not always a day trade in a cash deal, but this one's so big that there's probably going to be some momentum to be had in Activision once it opens up.
This is Microsoft now the third largest behind Tencent and Sony for video games. So that, I mean, it's going to be a good move for them. It looks like coming through. And then we've seen Zynga recently purchased as well. So it looks like the video game space is a hot one. And I mean, I don't think it's going to really push the needle or do anything for Microsoft. We initially went short. I forget about what happened today on that one. I went short because I was hoping that it was going to be some sort of thing involving stock, but then when it wasn't, it bounced off 300, which is great because that's going to give us a trade now. We're out. We're just sort of flashing around with that one. The real trade we like is like this long here at 300. So let's see what this means for Microsoft. I'm not really sure. I mean, the deal just came out, so we'll wait to read some articles, see what everyone thinks about it. But for me, Microsoft hasn't made great purchases in the past, but again, such a depressed stock level here for ATVI that it gets down to 65, 50. I mean, it was $55 at its low, makes a nice move back. So you come back in and you're just paying basically, I don't know, probably less than fair value for it. I mean, obviously if you're down here at 64, we think that it's worth $64, but comes all the way back up. They kind of pay in the middle here. Seems like it's going to be a good deal for Microsoft. Seems like a good deal for ATVI. So yeah, I think all you really do is kind of just, spread trade this thing when it gets a little bit closer to, I think it was, what was it? Q2 or something, Q3, whatever it was there. So this will probably open up around like 92-ish. I don't know. It's not even tapping for anything yet. So it'll open up and then the market will flow through probably near 95. I don't expect there to be any other bidders. So it looks like this is going to be a good deal. And for me, it's a good thing for Microsoft, just expanding its wings. They have tons of cash, right? And so I don't think this is going to dampen them. We can find out exactly what their cash position is. This is what? How much cash was this? 85? 90 billion?
It was 80 billion.
I think it was 80 billion. So okay, they just have cash. I only use FinViz here. I got to use a better website, but they have cash $17 per share. So we'll find out how much cash they have on hand, but this shouldn't be a problem for them to cover this. And I think it's a win for Microsoft here.
Another one we spent some time talking about last week, guys, Roblox as well, getting a nice bump here in the pre-market. It would appear on this as well. We came back to $80 here, which was kind of the middle of that range going back a month or two ago. But yeah, even Roblox here up 4.5%.
Yeah, I mean, the sympathy plays are definitely going to happen. Probably a little bit later with this one. I was watching EA, and then, look, I think fading it would have made some sense here in the pre-market just because it's only so far it's going to go on the speculation. If you could ever get to these ones early, like once the announcement happens, like have a go-to in the back of the mind because you're going to get that awesome pump there in the related names. And again, it's just the notion that if ATVI is up 33% and Microsoft values them as that much, then does it put a higher floor on the valuations of everybody else in the sector? It's just that's how M&A ends up working. I think in the case of Roblox, you got the spike. It already kind of came into this 85 level and then started to pull back in here. I'm not sure. I can't think of a reason why it should fundamentally break through and go any higher than this. Maybe you can find support at a previous level like a 79 or an 80, but this is just it's a sympathy play. And overall, we are still looking red on the market for the tech names. So I don't want to read too much into it with Roblox, but this and EA are going to be on the radar for me for sure. Although I kind of feel like I'm going to probably want to be trading ATVI just a little bit. I just think the volume might be quite good in ATVI. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Microsoft only has 130 billion cash, so it's not a whole bunch of cash that they have, and they're spending, more than half of it here to acquire. So not good. But okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if it's good or not. Roblox obviously been getting hit recently, and it's a name that's going to be under watch, but. I mean, besides Meta, Facebook themselves, I really think that there's no better name to be buying down here than Roblox. So I really like this name. There's no way, they're not going up for sale anytime soon. And if you do, then, their price target's going to be north of their all-time high. So like 140, 150. There's no way they're going public or going private anytime soon. So, I like this move. It's right back into here. It's the environment for these guys, right? No profits, nothing happening for them, and losing money, costing them more and more money to acquire customers every single day. You look at DraftKings as well, the same type of story for them, down sub 23 today. These names aren't going to work in this environment, but we'll wait to see what happens with Roblox. Obviously, this is a nice one for them, but look at DraftKings, just continues to be nasty. But yeah, I like Roblox in here, man. I think into $60, $70. Sorry, not 60 is the low, but in here into 70, I think it's a good buy. You're not too far away from there, so I think you could pick up some Roblox. I wouldn't yet. Like I said, I would rather wait for 70 to come through just because of what environment we're in. We keep talking about that, but I like Roblox here, and I just think it's a great win for Microsoft, it looks like anyways. The fact that the stock is going up on this news, I think is great. So ATVI right here, winners today, and I believe Microsoft's a winner today as well. So thank God, because the market's looking pretty sick here. Microsoft was down much more than this before the announcement, so it's nice to see. You can see here's Microsoft on the 20-minute, here's Microsoft on the 1 minute. So we were kind of, I guess when the news came down, we were right around 303, so I guess it wasn't too bad. 304, 303, gets hit down, dumps off at 300. We should have taken it out there. We didn't, and now we're just holding a small piece. So let's see what happens with Microsoft here, but I like that ATVI deal, and I like Roblox here.
Had some decent opportunities in Nikola shares over the past couple of days, or past couple of weeks, I should say, on a number of headlines from this company and some deliveries and orders coming through for Nikola. Just want to throw this out there. Proterra and Nikola teaming up on a long-term battery supply deal for that Class 8 semi-truck. So not much of a reaction off of that, but Nikola is right back to basically where it started, back to that pre-news last week level of around this 975, 950 area for NKLA. Let's bring in Jeff Mendel, VP of OTC Markets, and have a look at some opportunities on other markets that we've not touched on for a couple of weeks here, Jeff. Happy New Year, first of all. Good to see you as always. Let's jump right into things here. Going to be an interesting day on the crypto front. Again, it's been a bit of a slide to the downside since the year started, let's be honest. But that doesn't mean there aren't lots of opportunities, lots of volume, lots of activity on some of the products over on the OTC.
Oh, thank you, Brendan, as always. And Happy New Year to you as well. So let's jump right into it. Grayscale products trading actually pretty decent this morning. So I'm looking at GBTC right now. It's traded a bunch of times already this morning. Decent volume. It is trading down about $1 in the pre-market though, and with a pretty tight spread, only about 3 cents. Let's jump over to ETHE, which is the Ethereum version of the Grayscale products. Trading a little bit lighter than GBTC this morning. Same thing though. This one actually is trading down a little bit more. It looks like it's actually down about $1.50, almost $2 in the pre-market today.
Let's have a little bit of a chat here, Jeff, as far as what has been maybe, top of the list since the beginning of the year. We've been, a little bit cautious with everything that's going on as far as the Fed is concerned. Volume a little bit on the low side, really right across the board as far as trading is concerned since the new year started. Tell us, a few other names, a few other opportunities that you've seen kind of maybe piquing your interest.
I'm seeing a lot of activity in the ADRs. Like Tencent, TCEHY, or then Roche, which is RHHBY. So these are some of the bigger names in our space. And also some of the bigger names in the world too as well, right? With names like Tencent. There's also a lot of activity in the Canadian F shares. We talk about those once in a while. Now these are names that if you don't have direct access to the Canadian marketplace, you can trade them here. at OTC markets using OTCX. Right, so it's a great way to get access to the Canadian marketplace. Even if you don't have that direct access, like some of the traders that I know are watching do.
Brand new year, Jeff. That means brand new ideas, brand new features coming for a lot of traders. Tell us about some new additions over at OTC.
So I actually mentioned this last time I was on. I briefly mentioned, so if you start to see OTCN in the box, now this is kind of technical, right? But you start to see OTCN in the box, it's actually OTCX's depth of book feed. So that means if you're a trader and you want to see what's at other price levels, if you see OTCN in the box, that means we do have a market data feed where you can go and check that out. It looks like you guys aren't enabled yet. We'll fix that up pretty soon. But yeah, you can actually see multiple levels of liquidity, which obviously helps when you're trading and you want to know, like, okay, what type of liquidity is behind that bid or behind that offer.
Great stuff. Always a pleasure. Jeff Mendel, VP OTC Markets. A pleasure as always, Jeff. We'll look forward to the next visit.
Thanks, Brendan.
Have a great day. Just saw ATVI, guys, back open here. We're trading, around that 89.5 area. A ton of volume, though, coming in already for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, there was someone holding 89.50 for a little bit there. It just finally broke. Nowhere close to that 95. I thought it would open. I expected it lower. I didn't expect it necessarily below $90. I think it's going to be a fade at some point. I don't know if it's going to get high enough here. It's still in this range. It can't seem to break 90 even. Might be worth it just for a quick scalp off 90. The volume is pretty tremendous. It's already done 2 million shares in just about a minute and a half. So this is going to be an active one. Just don't expect, there's no 10% moves in here. And I don't expect it to trade to that $95 target price. Acquisition price, I should say, in all cash. But it should have a decent floor in it, even if it does get sold. You don't have to worry about trading it against Microsoft because it's an all cash deal. And Softy continues to go to the upside here. So maybe they like the fact that it's all cash. Because now it's up at 307. I tried Softy. It was in and out of that pretty quick, trying to short it off the high of the day. Hey, most times these deals have been, most of these companies have been getting beaten up as the acquirer. Maybe we're turning the page here. Otherwise, maybe we'll see what happens when Softy gets to that 310 level where it closed on Friday, or the high on Friday.
A big shout out to Jeff Mendel there, and I tried to tell everybody that San Francisco was going to beat Dallas, and that Dallas can't win big games. I was trying to tell you guys that. I'm just glad that our friend Prad didn't bet on the Cowboys. He bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are going to have a little bit of a hard time, I think, with the Rams. But the Rams played well yesterday, but the Cardinals are a crappy team anyways. So we'll see what happens. Next week is going to be a monster week. But Activision Blizzard now reopened here. Just a quick look at the level 2 if you guys are interested in it. $89. So the most you're going to get for your shares is going to be 95. So if you want to free up some capital, what you can do right now is if you want to make the guaranteed 6% in 4 months or whatever it's going to be, that's not bad. You can buy ATVI right now. So I'm thinking that there must be a problem with the deal a little bit, I guess, because that's a free 6%, right? So right now in this marketplace, I'm not even sure if you can get 6% in the market. So right now, if you wanted to, you could buy Activision Blizzard for $89.50 right now, and it's going to get done as long as there's no regulatory problems or anything like that. You can buy this stock right now at $89.50 and sell it. I believe you said it was end of Q2, but maybe it was Q3 there. 23, that's why. Okay, so that's why. So It's going to be 6% premium, but you're not getting your money until sometime in 2023.
The other thing too is it's because it's Microsoft. It's
probably a short here.
Big tech, since the new administration came in, all big tech, their deals are just getting more scrutinized, and that's going to be the case for any of the big names that try to do an acquisition. There's been at evens and at 50s, there's actually been orders to be able to sort of scalp off them on Activision here, and I feel like that's going to be the case. It's now doubled again in volume. This is going to do tens of millions of shares today, Brendo.
All right, let's get a few analyst moves here this morning. Interesting names on this list. There's the big one, Apple, top of the list this morning on the upgrade side. AMD's here, Boeing, Tesla. I wanted to mention Netflix because it was, 1.2%. It was more than that at one point this morning on a downgrade. There's multiple moves on SoFi as well. Goldman initiating coverage at neutral on SoFi, but a $40 price target. So kind of both ways on SoFi. So we'll talk about that on the watch list, worth mentioning. Airbnb and Best Buy as well, guys.
I'm glad you clarified that, because you know what? I must have seen that 40 and just assumed it was an upgrade, because I thought in my head that SoFi had gotten an upgrade. But a good clarification there, Brennan. We talked a little bit about it was Netflix. Yeah, Netflix last week, because they're raising their prices and they got that bump now late in the day yesterday. Well, I mean, yesterday, on Friday, of course, and they got that nice little bump because the whole speculation that everyone essentially pays, but it's given. I mean, I want to say it's given it all back. Almost all of it has been given back here on Netflix. So, got the spike up. It had given a bunch back going into Friday. The same key level before the spike is still in play on Netflix. This 526, this level here, that's previous high, and you get resistance. We closed right at that 526, and then you're right on the cusp, like trying to bounce in front of it as well. So 526 still in play on Netflix. Again, it just comes down to valuation and big tech getting beaten up. Like, even the headlines can't seem to break this one up. That's why I'll be interested, because with Microsoft reacting sort of favorably, at least for now, to this deal, it'd be pretty big if that were to close strongly, and especially spending the way that they're going to be doing here, and what's happening to the rest of the big tech names. But yeah, Netflix couldn't seem to hold on to its gains. 526, that's a key area of resistance, and should be back to this ATVI, man.
Yeah,
it does not want to trade it higher.
No, of course, yeah, we shorted. I mean, that was an easy short. We should have shorted it when it was near 90, but we shorted 89.50. We took 28 cents on the first half, and now we'll wait to see more. The fact that this is closing in 2023, this stock heads lower now, so we'll wait to see here where it goes. We could have just got out at like 88. I think it was 88.80 or something was the low there. So we'll wait to see where it goes, but it's trying to find its ways. So we'll continue to hold this short. Like I said, the only real risk to this deal, I guess, is that someone else comes in and tries to buy them. But I guess again, it just hit, so it's been confirmed up, so we're not expecting that to happen. But ATVI, we'll see how low it wants to trade here. I don't think people want to have their money locked up for that long, but like I said, we'll see if some programs come in. But I'm happy to be short now, 30 cents in the money, and then a loser on Softy, as that's just chilling out up here at 305. So I'm actually waiting for a real trade down here at 302 and change. So that's where I'll dump this off. And then if this comes back into 303, 302, then we will take another long and another shot here on Microsoft. But I guess right now we wait for the big board. And Arun, are you ready? You want to go back to Brendan?
Mention this date one more time, guys, if you missed it. Right off the bat, here we go. The deal's expected to close. It actually doesn't even specify. It just says fiscal year 2023. So there isn't even a quarter to kind of lean on. That's tough to see there. But deal expected to close fiscal year 2023. It doesn't even say a quarter there, so we'll dig into that maybe a little bit further, see if we can come up with something a little more specific. But for the most part, as we said, tons of volume for ATVI. Yeah, Arun was nice enough to actually come in this morning to the office, even though it's crazy snowy outside. We got a decent storm over the weekend, so Arun's ready to go over at the TV. Let's get a look at what we need to know, Arun, as far as the futures are concerned.
Yeah, here we are coming back from a long weekend, snowy day here. I happen to show up in the office today, so we'll just go through the board. I can actually point out the levels as I'm kind of talking at this point. So what I'm looking at, 46.45 is the first level I'm looking at. Given where we are, we should find some support, but I want to see us cross 15 to the upside before I consider the idea of a long. The issue is, though, the closest level I've got down below is 45.65, so we're stuck between 45.65 on the downside. We've got 46.45 up top, and then we've got the main level up here at 47.10. So there's a wide range. That 45, that level that I'm talking about, that's fairly recent. So I want to see what happens if we can get above 15, maybe into the 20s and 30s. If we start to slow down, that's an option for a short. If we don't, let's just say we kind of keep going up, we let it go, there's not a whole lot you can do. Like I said, the closest support level is down here at 45.65. So we are going to have to wait it out to see whether this market wants to come further down, providing an option for a long. If it keeps going further up, maybe into the 70s, provides an option for the short against the 47.10. And if we get that slowed down around 20 to 30, then maybe there's a long there as well. But for now, it's a game of patience. We are coming back from a long weekend. Markets are down big. So we may get a nice little flush of activity at the beginning, which kind of allows us to figure something out. But for now, just be aware of the three levels that I'm mentioning. The big one being 47.10. and 45.65. There's a not a micro level, but there is a somewhat of a level here at that 46.45. And if we get a trade there, that might be the way to go. But just be smart about how you're going to trade coming back from a long weekend, because there will be a rush in volume, especially at the beginning of the day.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow. Let's get into what else is moving around, guys, this morning in the pre-market, including Microsoft on the watch list this morning. That's the link, though. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do want the link to the watch list. Just need an email address to sign up for that. Let's get to some earnings here. I was actually watching Morgan Stanley. MS out tomorrow before the open. Goldman, however, out this morning before the open with their Q4 numbers. Not terrible, I guess it's worth mentioning, but it was the trading side of things that was down again for Goldman Sachs, guys. So off a little bit here in the pre-market.
Yeah, banks continue to get crushed, and so does ATVI right now. I mean, wow, we're $1 in the money on ATVI right now to the short side. More than $1. What am I talking about right now? We're going to have to wait to watch where it's going. It's just ripping around. Like, I don't know what just happened there, but we went long for some reason at the bottom there. So, that's why it printed 90. So we wound up getting out there at the bottom as it ripped back up. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. We'll get out of that one. But that's just a mistake. So what else are we talking about?
I mean, Goldman. The thing is, like, it just feels like you're going to have to get really boring with the banks, because the truth of the matter is the trading side, your M&A side, of course, is a big deal today, notwithstanding, but your trading side, your M&A side might not be the best place to go. They're just looking like they're going to get a bit beaten up if you're talking your JPMs and your Morgans, in your Morgan Stanleys and your Goldman Sachs of the world, and then the less sexy names are going to hold up a little bit better. Now, obviously, whether you have, like, JPM had its smallest beat in a long time, and you get Goldman here, there's probably nothing they were going to do that was going to have it print to the upside. And when JPM traded on earnings last week, it was a situation where you might not have believed it could go down any further in reaction. And I don't want to get that same trap here in Goldman. And I'm going back to the daily to show you, like, this is about like a 370 floor here. So 65 to a 70 previous floor, that if it bounces and tries to retake it, I think there can be a fade play in there. I don't want to chase it because I'm not really that negative on it, and there's so much more to trade. But certainly JPM did give you more opportunities later in the session to continue to short it, whereas Goldman, I'm not going to shy away from that. Miss V.
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Sayonelli Jah. No sticky note today. There is, of course, sticky note on Sean's Instagram. Guys, I'm going to send you the link on the chat. Follow Sean on Instagram and, of course, repost the sticky note. This is the golden nugget of our trading community. Back to you guys.
Yeah, so I was, thank you so much for that. Yeah, and as soon as I saw that someone was wondering about the sticky note there, it is up. So here it is right here. And we did talk about it, Microsoft looking at the 302 support. That was written before ATVI came out. So ATVI came out and we're like, huh? But we still like those levels down there. AMD, Lucid, BABA, and AMC all on the sticky note. So please, guys, like it, retweet it, do all that kind of stuff. And like I meant to say, or like I was starting to say there, we were $1 plus. So we took $1.20 there out for ATVI. We were short 89.50, first out 89.20, next out down there at 88.40, but it came out because we had a 90 bid out there just in case it crossed. So that actually fired off right there and got us out at close enough to the bottom, 89.40, which fired us long, and we got out quickly there as well. So just to let you know, we're back in and out there of ATVI. Put that money in our pocket as Microsoft's starting to come back down a little bit. But thank you for all the love on the sticky note one more time. I still like all these Microsoft levels. And just to talk about the banks there, again, last week when XLF was trading all the way up here, we talked about it, that you may want to take something off. And I hope some of you did, because it's not that big of a deal. You only save yourself $1. It's not huge. It doesn't move as much as the banks themselves. But today you're going to have Goldman Sachs. And again, if you're a trader at Goldman Sachs, you're loving life right now. Their compensation was up like 30% or something, while their revenues were nowhere near that. So you're going to get Goldman just getting cranked down to the downside here today, down that 4%. They're giving everything back. I expect the same thing to happen to Morgan. Remember what we said with Morgan last week when it was like 104, 105? Well, now it's down to 96. Like, that's not a joke of a move. It's the same thing with JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. They're all giving back. And I tried I mean, whatever. I'm not heavy into banks. I was saying that to Neil before the show started. So I think this is an opportunity now to maybe get into some, because a lot of them have cranked down below now at some of these levels. But again, for me, the writing was on the wall. I was actually speaking with my father on the weekend as well, and was like, you know, although we like the banks for the dividend, it was like, you know, you probably need to get out of them for the next couple weeks anyways, but we'll see what happens with tech earnings. Banks could come right back into fire again, guys. If tech is bad as it's looking like it's going to be, money will rotate back into financials. So for me, I think you got to pick up. I mean, we'll wait for Morgan. It'll come out tomorrow. It'll probably, honestly, with what we've seen, I think Morgan's gotten hit a lot without even showing their hand yet. So, you know, that could be a little bit of an overplay down here to $97. Like, it was just 106. Like, that's a big move down, guys. Like, that's 10+% in four trading days. So, yeah, the banks are definitely giving off, which isn't helping the market. So for me, I'll wait on Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, but I am into JP Morgan. I was selling around the 150 mark. As you guys know, I post all my trades on Twitter. So, you know, we'll wait to see about getting back in, but JP Morgan's right back to those levels. So who knows, man? I'm short the banks until they make a base.
As you were saying, tech under pressure, continues to be under pressure here in the pre-market. Just watching Apple down 1.3% here after leading last week to the downside, the entire market really to the downside. The 10-year this morning, highest level since January of 2020, 1.83%. So interest rates are back to the upside again this week. The next Fed meeting, guys, the 25th and 26th of this month. So not expected to get the first rate hike until March, but everyone kind of eyeing that date coming up next week.
Yeah, look, it's a watch data. It's a watch to see how, you know, every single inflation print comes in. Everyone's going to be sitting around looking for it just to see if you're going to get any kind of a change in what the expectations might be. And they're all over the place. Like, a lot of people are saying throughout 3 rate hikes, 4, 5, 6. I think someone was saying 7. The last week that we're looking at, and you know, I'm gonna watch Nvidia today, if only because it's at some pretty interesting levels. We had Friday's bottom here at about 261, and then we just bounced off that in the pre-market. So there's a slight bounce happening in the NASDAQ right now, which could take you right back into this. It's not really a double top, but it's pretty close. 270s, 271s here on Nvidia. It did spike through there at the open before fading a little bit. So you have some levels to work with Nvidia. I think if it does like immediate fade and then sort of a bounce off of this 261, that can be one level to use. 256 was, you know, the last week Monday, that was that bottom. And then up here at 271 would be actionable for, I guess, a fade off. I don't like a breakout necessarily at 71. But that could be used as a bit of a fade here. And Nvidia just comes down to valuation, right? Like the momentum is pretty clear after turning post-split through that 50 period. You've now held at least a lower high at that 280, and then you broke like this 270 area that I was just talking about to the top. You now broken that and headed back down towards this like 56 bottom. Only 1.5% down, so it's not necessarily leading the NASDAQ. It's right in line. So you do have to watch some key levels on the futures anytime you're trading them. But it is Nvidia that I'm choosing to watch today. Although, you know, obviously I made that decision before the Microsoft news. And that's looking a heck of a lot more volatile today with the ATVI deal. So we'll have to check back in on some softy as well, because, you know, it did feel like there was going to be a chance that you could have played some of those support levels. I don't know how much I like the support as much after this big acquisition, but they're still respecting the deal like they like it, so I can't really hate.
134 here, so AMD's come down to 134 a couple times. That's a level that we can possibly look at to trade some big cap tech here. I like AMD back down to 134, so we'll see. It'll probably print there off the open. It did something similar to that on Friday. We'll wait to see where it goes. But I mean, if you like the market today, then yeah, you got to be in some AMD or some Nvidia, because those names will go when the market does go. So we'll look to see that. And then I don't mind. I mean, we're just in between 134 and 137. So what we wrote down on the sticky note was exactly that, was that, you know, we'd look to see what's going to happen long through 137, support at 134. That's basically all that we have written down there on the AMD side of things. And then I see in crypto land, although it hasn't been anything too important lately, it's nice to see Cardano up 33% in 7 days. So at least it's off the bottom now at 149. So some of these other names like Solana down to 136, getting worse and worse. Cardano bouncing a little bit here as Charles Hoskinson was having some talks over the weekend. So that was nice. Ripple still down. Obviously, Dogecoin is up on the Elon news from last week. Shiba Inu back down to 2.8. Yeah, that's been a little bit of a bumper as well. Polygon down to 213. So there's some stuff happening. Litecoin, I remember they got up there on the Walmart news. That didn't seem to be anything, obviously. Stellar Looms. I mean, there's a few things here that are good, but for me, Bitcoin right back to that 41.6. So we last bought at 40, went up to 44, didn't take any out. But right now, Bitcoin, Stellar, Lumens, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, they're all here. So crypto bouncing around today as well. So watch out for some crypto news as Bitcoin tries to approach 40 grand one more time.
A little one just popping up here, Neurometrics, one we've traded and talked about on the show many times before. They just got breakthrough designation from the FDA. Can we show the thanks? Breakthrough designation from the FDA on a wearable technology that works on a chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. So heads up on NURO, trying to make some moves here. Not a lot of volume yet, but trying to head back to highs here for NURO. Let's go to Tesla next. Interesting note this morning from Jefferies, not only on Tesla, but the entire EV space, talking very positively on what is to come as far as EV sales going into this year and next year as well. So basically increasing the price target right across the board on EVs in general. But Tesla, 1025. From Jefferies, this is from 825. So they were at 825 up to 1025 on their price target.
Yeah, so upgrade to here right now. I mean, the strength is it's pretty muted, and I think we're going to go back to what happened last week. I'm not all about that $1,000 level just because it's definitely shown some different levels of support. If we fall back down, 980, I think 980 is definitely the price level that I'll look back to because that's where you had that flash from bottom last week. I think that's your defensible long. And then we're still looking at that 1040 level where we had the break. We tried along on Friday. It was a good trade into 1040. It just couldn't extend any further than that until the afternoon. So I still look at that 1040 level as resistance on Tesla. And I just want to quickly jump over because it's happening now. So we have to talk at least a little bit about Vinco Ventures because when it was pulling back off 470, this is like a double top here in the pre-market. I was looking for a dip into 450, said, I think it's going to pull back into the open, and then it just broke out once again. On Vinco, there's room till 560 to the upside. So I know it's going on a churn to $5. I'm not really looking to fade. I might scalp a $5 short, but I don't think I love it till about 560. And I was looking for a long bouncing off of 450 at the open. It doesn't seem like, unless it pulls back in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'm not sure going to be able to get that fill in the morning, before the open or at the open. But that has been support around that 445 to 450 all morning long. Vinco Ventures once again on the run.
Yeah, 480, I mean, short this one if you wish. You have some levels up here to look at, but look how nice this has been moving to the upside. I know Trader Prad's been talking about this as well. 480, yeah, why not? I mean, it's tested there before. We'll see if we can get there again. It's right there right now. This is what the daily levels look like. So you do have a high here about 550. So if you did take a 480 break, you could get a 550 print coming out sooner rather than later, but a big move again to the upside on Vinco Ventures. I don't know if Brendan's brought the news to us today again, but it seems like every single day, Vinco Ventures just runs up like almost on nothing. So we'll see if this is getting squeezed out. But Vinco Ventures right now continues to make a move to the upside. I think a 480 break you should take.
Watch list this morning, BBIG. Yeah, there's no real significant news other than that 25-ish% short interest on that BBIG. So yeah, very, very active once again this morning. Let's go to SoFi, guys, because as I was mentioning when I was at the board there, we were talking a little bit about some upgrades and downgrades. SoFi on the downgrade side, but Goldman Sachs with an interesting note on SoFi today, initiating coverage at neutral, so in the middle, obviously, but a $40 price target for GS on SoFi.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we just went long Vinco Ventures here at 81, so we'll see where it goes. Sorry, at 80. Well, we got an 80 print, so I don't know. We'll see where that goes. I'm just going to hold that. It's not a huge position yet. Look, SoFi's been one of those trades that, yeah, it's been nasty, man. I mean, ever since the beginning of the year. And this is another thing. If you've just started to build your portfolio, I don't know really what you've been into, because even if you've bought banks recently, which SoFi tries to be one, then you're getting killed. I mean, we just talked about Morgan, JP, I mean, not killed. You're down over the last week or so. So, of course, SoFi continues to make new lows every single day. I mean, I can't believe that we even broke that $14 mark right down there. And it does that, and it breaks again lower. Despite the Rams winning, you're still down that 2.42%. If you're holding, and I hear Trader Pratt talk about this all the time, you don't hold SoFi because the Super Bowl is being held in SoFi Stadium. Who cares about that? It is nice to see their name everywhere, but at the same time, they continue to get beat up, so you're down another 2.5%. Look, there's really no bottom here for SoFi. We do note that on Friday off the open, and then again on, looks like that was, it wasn't halted. I don't know if we're missing data in there or something, but between 12 and 1 there. But anyways, we did touch down at 1270 as a bottom. So if you want to look for somewhere that, SoFi may bounce at, maybe 1270, maybe 1250. So I think it's worth a try down there at 1250. Obviously, Goldman comes out. We'll just see where they go. But SoFi continues to be a mess. It's on, SoFi's on our list there. Neutral price target at $40. But if their price target's at 40, then really we shouldn't be going downside today. So this is what I mean. Like, why even put out a price target of $40 when the stock's at 12? You're basically saying this is like the best buy on the street right now. So I don't know where it's going. I really like a long if we can get above basically 14 again. I was going to say this bottom of 1370, but we need to get above 14. So for me, SoFi is just a hold until it starts to show some green shoots, and right now doesn't appear to be anything.
Yeah, I mean, with that price target and the fact that that bottom, I think Sean referenced, I think it's like a ghost in your chart there that Pratt was getting last week. But 1265 was the bottom wick on SoFi. I'm just looking for a long in front of that. If it breaks it, forget about it. Otherwise, if it holds it, fair enough. We just go long. And then if it can break 13, I think resistance at 13.25. There's a risk to reward trade definitely in there on SoFi, and I definitely want to be able to take that one. Not a lot of pre-market volume, unfortunately, but still, it's at a price now with a support level that looks like it'll be pretty decent. If it breaks, it's a pretty easy out.
Yeah, much anticipated Lucid lockup set to happen tomorrow at the open. A whole bunch of shares set to come for sale or potentially come for sale tomorrow. We're down here in the pre-market, 2.8% for Lucid, guys. The day before an event like that, what do you do with a stock like this?
I think
gets to 42.50, I'm fading it.
Yeah, I think you just respect the levels that we already know, right? I mean, I think that makes the most sense to me, and that's why I wrote down 40 here to take a shot at $40. I mean, it's just, I think you take a shot at the long. We had Daniel Shea on last week. A lockup doesn't necessarily mean the stocks are going down, of course. It could be completely the other way around where, people dump their shares and they're like, okay, that's good, they've sold, and then it's all the way back up. So a lot of the times share lockups could be where they, sell the news, buy the rumor, or buy, in this case, it would be the other way around because you want to buy the shares. So it would be basically sell the rumor and then buy up the news when it comes through. So I'll wait to see 40. It could be an epic disaster today to the downside. So Lucid does have downside momentum to it for sure. Off of Thursday and Friday, you see nicely downside. We got as high as 48, and now you're going to test 40 today. I mean, that's $8 on 40, right? So you're down a lot from the highs just a couple days ago. So I wonder if a lot of the selling's already happened, and on a daily range, you still get some nice support down here, $36 to $38. So there's lots of support here for Lucid, that's for sure. I think it's a buy down in these areas if you're trying to hold for a little longer term, and then you can judge, if you're wrong, if it continues to make a move down. But right now, I don't like the EV space. I think we've talked about this. I think Ford is basically the king right now, out of all of these names. They don't seem to have any problems. Every day, Ford seems to just want to climb higher and higher and higher. It might pull back little by little, but honestly, you're still at $25 here for Ford. So, and then you see Tesla as well. We've already talked about that today, and that can move around. That's down to $10.24. So for me, I'm investing in Tesla, Ford, GM, and Fisker. And then I do like Lucid if we get down here. But for today, you asked the question. Neil maybe talk about the short side of things, but for me, I still like the short as well, but I got to defend this 40 area that's been holding on the 20-minute. You can go all the way back to last week where we did hold $40 a couple times. So we'll see if 40 holds. It's a big trade when it comes down, and then when it breaks, we're out. So this is not like let's hold on for dear life. No, we'll take a long in front of 40. If it works, great. If not, we're out of there.
Yeah, I mean, for me and Lucid, I see I'm not a head and shoulders type person for patterns, but you're going to see it on the 15-minute chart, at least trying to form one, $43.5 up here. A lower high consolidation would be that 42.50 that I was sort of under my breath referencing there. So any pop into those two levels, I think, is going to be a bit of a fade. It's held at 40 enough that I'd like to see it try to bounce off there. So I'd rather short a pop into strength and try to catch one of these top wicks more than anything else. We'll see what happens. I think there's some institutions that are going to be looking to be selling at least some Lucid, but there's a lot of shareholders that love it as well. A couple of things. We only have 10 minutes to go, so I want to make sure I get to this one. SRGA, because I am in it. I did add right there at the top. I had some shares at the one area, did add a nice little spike. If it gets to the high of the day, I'm going to be stopping out on this. And then it's not on our watch list. Well, at least I don't think it is. But DWAC, if you're watching the wedge on DWAC, I have to look at this when you're forming this wedge up here at about 73. It still has a 75 top. 75 and 77 were the actionable shorts that I liked on DWAC in terms of actually taking a level in front of it. But if you look at this, it's pretty much set to break, tightly the 73. I'm not that attracted to the long because it's right into that 75 level, but it could give you the pop and fade off 75, almost right at the open. So my eyes are on DWAC. Of course, CFVI a bit on the move as well. I didn't check Funware out, but yeah, these are still in play. I know it's not up a heck of a lot, but still in play and right around that high, getting close to that 75. I like.
I didn't put it on the board there, but let's maybe touch on energy stocks here. We tend to pass on these in the pre-market, but I mean, these have been an epic trade over the past couple of weeks to the long side, kind of a slow grind on an intraday basis, but worth mentioning once again, guys, oil back to recent highs once again. So this group, just having a look here at XOM, back to recent highs as well, 1.2 on XOM. I mean, well above where we were back on Friday.
I mean, crude is 85 right now, touching 86. I mean, it's crude is off. We tested XOM for a short, and then we lost 5 cents and got the heck out of there at 71.50 when we were testing it. Let it settle down. We were right on the short, but we got out and then faded out. Like, that was sort of what's been happening to us. Then when it retook that level back on the upside, that's when we went long, and then obviously made much more than that 5 cents, including 71.45 long. Out in the 70s, and then our last out here is $72. So XOM was a great trade. If we could have swing anything, I think holding on to something like an XOM is good to do. And so any sort of a dip back down, as long as crude is holding up, which it is right now, up that 1.2%, you could see. And again, I keep saying too far, too fast. That was more for the banks and a few other stocks that I'll talk about like that. But honestly, energy, it doesn't have a too far, too fast behind it because it's just going to follow. And these names have revamped, how they operate. XOM, much cleaner company now, same as Chevron. Not only cleaner as far as energy, but their books are a lot cleaner. It's a lot simpler to see. What's been happening. Management's done a good change here for XOM, and obviously I've seen some of their commercials. They're pushing clean energy. You could see a nice little move to the upside. I think you got to get back into 70, 71 to get interesting for me, but XOM continues to make moves higher, and as long as oil holds up, I think you got to hold out for that one. And I mean, imagine there's a lot of people that have calls on oil. 80, well, they've already probably executing those. 90, 100, 110, 125. So as it's kind of like what's going to happen with AMC, right? Well, what did happen with AMC, and that is that when all of a sudden all these prices get called out, it has nothing to do but go upside because people got to cover some of their shorts. So we'll wait to see what happens here with oil, but I think you can get also a huge squeeze on oil coming up, especially as we get closer and closer to 100. So I think XOM has lots and lots of runway.
Yeah, these names will look pretty strong. I mean, Oxy's breaking that 36. I mean, as we speak, it kind of already did so in the pre-market. We're talking about this level last week, certainly, and you had that previous top here at 36. We would have faded it if there was an intraday trade. Like, this is a spike that I was hoping would be the turn. It never quite got to 36. Now you're gapping above. If it holds a bit, it can be gonzo, to be sure. Just watching, and I just talked about DWAC because I want to come back to this name. Just watching that turned off of that 73 high, so that's pulling back. And then Lucid, the other name, it's like, okay, so much for the pop and fade. Lucid just dropped about 50 cents as well. So a couple of names starting to come back in that I was looking for the pop and fade idea with. Activision still on the move, but it's holding 87 to 87.50. 85-ish. You get to that price, I might actually start thinking about longs. And then BBIG was another one, Vinco Ventures, I should say, that tried to break. I'm on the bid in front of the 50s, but you did have this previous high, or at least these attempts here, 65 to 70. I'm holding out hope that I can still get a long in front of 450 on this, but might have to chase it up to the 65 to 70 area. Bit of a reversal off the top there, and now pulling back in. The stock does have some runway to go with about 5 minutes on the clock to the open.
All right, quiet morning overall on small cap world, but let's talk about this one. NURO popped up a little bit late, so not on the list this morning, simply because it wasn't doing anything. You can see barely trading here up until about 9 o'clock when we came on. So 650 just being tested right now. 650 just being tested right now. This thing has room all the way to about 7 or 720. Once you get above that, you start getting back into some of these levels on the daily chart. So resistance pretty far away right now for Neuro, but watch 7 and then 720 to the upside. Gets back below 620, might give you a fade, guys.
All right, so let's just go over some of the things as we're getting ready to open up here. BBIG, we averaged into that, so we'll see where it goes from here, but there's the average in right there at 60, so a nice little trade there. Now we're long at 73, so we can take some out now on BBIG if we wanted to. Let's see if it wants to go upside again. 87 is the high on BBIG, so we'll see if it wants to take that out. We're going to get out if it breaks back down below 440. I mean, it's pretty simple structured trade there. We average in at VWAP, take it to the upside, and then now it's reacting pretty positively. So we'll see that one. Microsoft's another name here. We dabbled in it early, went short, got out again. So we're negative on Microsoft right now. We made that money back on ATVI. I still like Microsoft down here. Hopefully I still have those bids, and yes, I do, around 302. We'll see if it holds 300. Remember though, even though it's on the sticky note at these levels, with that deal coming through, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but let's see if we still respect some of those levels. And it's not a game changer for Microsoft, although they had $130 billion in cash. They just spent 80 of it on ATVI. I don't know if that's going to be a good move or not. AMD, again, we're waiting at 134, so we'll see if that comes through. Lucid, although Neil just mentioned it came in, it didn't come in far enough for us. Almost did though, 40 and a quarter. We're waiting for that one. AMC, and I'm just running over all the ideas here, just so we can all be on somewhat the same page. I like a break through 1950. If it breaks through 1950, we're going to get in. We're going to try to scalp it out. Obviously, we saw what happened on Monday. Today's Monday or today's Tuesday. On Friday, when we broke through 20 early, it cracked through 20, went all the way down to 1960 basically, and then popped up $1. So I kind of expect something similar to happen on a 1950 break, back to the downside. That's AMC. And then the last one here, is Alibaba. I still like the short, although it's back upside. I think we could short around 130 and then see if we get taken out back up around 132, because remember, there is some scrutiny now towards them and some investigations on national security and stuff. So that's not going to be a good little look there. I may just take out a piece of the, we're long at 40. You know what? Maybe I'll put an offer at 480 for a piece here, because that's the first break that we had. That way we take our 7 cents, and then if it retests some of the highs, then we can get out on the way up. So let's get a piece out on BBIG if we can at 80, as that was the high that basically failed. So BBIG here at 480. I'm going to try to offer out for 7 cents on $4. Not bad. Here it comes right here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the offer of Alibaba. I just look at the floor from last week, and I'm going to put that in as my new ceiling. We talked about AMC last week. I'm going to like that break one way or another. I think it's a scalpable type of trade. We got the scalp trade on the 20. I think you got to try to go back to the same well. One last one, as we look at tech, it's beaten up a little bit. I am looking at a firm as well. I mean, firm at $70. That's going to stand out like a sore thumb. You did have a bit of a floor there, and then it just flushed in the afternoon on Friday. So I'll be fading the firm off of 70. DWAC just took out the top, so it looks like it's going to be headed at the open to that 75 level at 73.30. And ATVI, like I said, if it gets to 85, I think it gets pretty interesting down at that price. I mean, I'm sort of, oh, wait a minute, let me adjust this bit a little bit, because that was a little bit earlier on in the day. It was sliding a little faster. If it gets a little parabolic to the downside and tries to catch a bid at 85, I might try to slip in there. $10 away from the price. I thought it would go down, but certainly it's starting to slide a little bit faster than anticipated. With 1 minute to go, there is a heck of a lot to watch. It's a shortened week, but it is not going to be shy of action here. Watching ATVI, Alibaba, AMC, Nvidia, and Vinco Ventures, which I think could give a bit of a pop trade as well. So get your orders locked and loaded, ready to go. Everybody is here despite Snowmageddon. A little bit surprised by that. Even Arun is actually in the building. Ms. V is going to be on the bell. She's in the North Carolina blue. And by the way, those of you that are watching ATVI, there's momentum trades to be had. But obviously, this is a company that's probably worth 95 at some point late in the year. So I don't necessarily expect it to trade too aggressively to the upside, especially if it breaks like $90 because of how long the deal is going to come through. But there should be actionable trades there. And looks like off the open, probably DWAC 75 could be the first thing I'm watching, unless something crazy happens in a firm or potentially AMC. We'll see. But Miss V on the bell, we're locked and loaded, ready to go. I see Vitaly working hard in the background as well. The whole crew's here with the renovations, but countdown is on this Tuesday morning. 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it.
Yes, Ms. V. Yeah, we'll watch that as well. There goes Vinco Ventures, a nice little move to the upside. We actually get out 80s there, so good so far for us there on Vinco Ventures, BBIG, as that's starting to go. We are watching out for DWAC as well. There goes BBIG, so maybe that is going to be a nice little squeeze to the upside here. If it does happen, we're going to be here through 480, but remember our 440 is going to be our stopping spot, so that's BBIG here watching everything else as we go.
Yeah, I mean, DWAC on the pop. It looks like it got up here. Oh, what do we get to like 74.5? Why did my shares not go through? It looks like my pay for short did not process. Otherwise, I ended up pending on SoFi there. But SoFi was another name that we're going to be watching as DWAC now through 75 and busting. SoFi, I'm on the bid. I'm actually sitting here at 1280. And it looks like it touched the bid. I did not get the fill there, but looks like it touched that bid. But looking to see if I can't get that long in front of 1265.
Yeah, so we are long DWAC right here as well. We're long a lot of stuff right now. We've actually got our AMDs on. We've got our DWAC on. We're going to hold, see where DWAC goes from here. But AMD right now, things are starting to tank. So we got to watch out with some of these orders that we have on board. AMD 130, I was wrong screen there. 134.20 long on that one. We are long Palantir, nice little starter position down here as we look to test this $15 area. So I don't know. But right now we're long everything. AMD went up nicely to us, but we didn't get out there. So watch out. NASDAQ, as I'm zoomed in too much here, you can see the NASDAQ coming in a lot right now. So down 1.73. The short might be the right play here. But right now, long everything, and it's not in trouble. We're just holding, waiting to see where we go.
Yeah, now hopefully now I'll get this DWAC. I did get the fill. Looks like I did get the fill on SoFi there at 1280. It's a simple stop. If it breaks that 65 area, I'm going to be out. But a bit of a turn here on DWAC. It breaks 75. Gets to about like 75 and a half, and then starts slamming back down because this market is starting to crack a little bit here. And if you're watching ATVI, it's not like this has caught a bit either. This is starting to accelerate a little bit, and that 85 could come into play rapidly. But there's a ton of volume. AMC just broke that 1950 level, so you're seeing that start to flush as well. Going to see if I can scalp that out. But ATVI, 85 is coming real fast.
Yeah, right now there's lots of stuff happening all over the place, including this AMC where we have the same trade. We thought it would crack a little bit lower than this, but obviously it's not. So let's just start to take some of these out as we go here because AMC we know can fade right back the other way. So we're going to watch out for that one. DWAC is coming back in, I guess. Right now watching out for a 72 break as my charts are all over the place. We have to watch out for AMC because this is the one that we're hard on. We're big on.
You said it.
We're all good, man. Yeah, we have a lot of shares here for AMC, so that's the name that we're looking at. Microsoft, also a nice little rip to the upside here. So we already took out some nice profits there. So if the NASDAQ can bounce, man, we're going to be well in the money here. So let's go, guys. Hopefully this keeps on going. Lucid as well, coming back down to 40. So we have our plan of action set up here. Lucid getting cranked down to 40 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got in and out of AMC and then already back in. I'm going to try and scalp it off this level. But it looks like it's trying to put that reversal in that we were just talking about. DWAC was the other name at the top, and I tried to get the turn or the curl on DWAC when the AMC shares came. Couldn't get anything at 74. It's already back to 72.5. And then SoFi, the only long I got on is this SoFi, which, does not seem like it wants to catch a bounce. It's already headed towards those lows. Looks like it's going to break that bottom. So we tried it on the upgrade. I guess it wasn't an upgrade. I mean, it was a price target upgrade, but it breaks at 65. I'm not fighting SoFi too long. These shorts are starting to work out. Brendan, already?
TSM, guys, we were talking about some of the chip makers, but TSM to the downside this morning, as many of them are, but starting to bounce here a little bit. Big time buy volume alert there at 136 for Taiwan Semiconductor.
I don't know if you're saying, I didn't hear that in my ear, so. We'll try to get that for next time. There goes AMC all the way to the downside. Look at AMD, guys. Mamma mia, we've got some big trades happening right now. AMD, 70 cents in the money. BBIG's trying to go up, man. We're trying to get that going. Microsoft, $2 now in the money on Mr. Softy. $2 now in the money. So big time trades happening all over the place. AMC, we're still in that one. Yes, sir, we are. As we said, remember we said we'd quick scalp that one? Look at this. You want to talk about quick scalps? All the way to the downside goes AMC as it's still cracking lower. We're pretty good here today. Let's enjoy our drink as Microsoft $2.50 now in the money.
Yeah, that is a quite full coffee there. I just got my first leg into BBIG. It finally, it's been spiking down. It got a double top at 485. Now it's trying to hold a lower high. These were some levels from the pre-market here, about 470s. Now I want to see if I can go long in front of that. It's about 450, but if you look, 440, 442 has been a bit of a level. We're now down to, oh my God, I got some shares out at 19. AMC's at 19 even, so got to get some shares out there as that continues to absolutely flush into the downside. Vinco, first long of the day for me, and DWAC trying to head back up to that 75, where it can be possibly faded again. Was that Brendan?
Neuro, guys, the one we were talking about just before the open. First halt of the day, 38% on volatility, up to 680 here for Neuro. 6 million float on this, so just be aware of NURO.
All right, I'm going to hold this Microsoft. It seems like it wants to work, man. We're $3 now in the money on Microsoft. So, yes, that was a good idea to get long. We talked about 302, man. Wrote it right down on our sticky note, and we'd like to respect those levels as well. And some of our outs there, good outs for sure on AMC, man. Our best out down there, 19 flat. Sorry, 1897 a piece out on AMC. So, yeah, so far so good on that one. Palantir comes all the way back, so we'll have to wait to see where it wants to go. We didn't get the better fill near the bottom, which would have been real nice. We were waiting at 15.10. It only goes down as low as 15.15. So definitely watching out there as Palantir trying to go. And then our DWAC, man, we've just been holding this one. We're long 75.25. It's come all the way back up. Let's see if it wants to take something out now. DWAC trying to go. I have a stuck offer there. Trying to go up 75.50 here on DWAC. So I have no idea where this thing's going to go. Hopefully a lot higher than this.
Yeah, I mean, I should have had the short the first time through. I didn't get it till the second time, and this, if it takes out the top, I'm just gonna get out of this trade. Who cares? And it's just, I should have had it that first time. I did say I would try to define Activision at 85. I just got it started at 85.50. I'm not holding it past 85. That continues to flush down. I'm almost out of AMC, but still holding on to a bit of a baby piece because just see how far it can go. That was a huge level, that 20 area. Now that it's taken the bottom a successive time. On the daily chart, you just have a ton of room if it even comes back here till about those 16s. And then the other one, which I wanted, as the market starts to flush, it's a firm that I'll probably be the most upset about because that doesn't even try to get to the upside. It just completely fades in already through 66. I want to short any pop I can get. There's a little limit to how far I do want to chase a firm. But you know what? You probably can't chase it too far. If it gets to 67, I'll try a dip into a firm. Vinco Ventures is starting to go here. I'm going to scalp it on the way to $5. I got the long at 64 here. I'm going to take some out in front of those 80s, but BBIG, it felt like it was going to do this. Like dip first at the open. It does give you the look for the dip. Now it's trying to test that 5 even. If I can get some shares out in front of 5. Still room to 560 on Vinco Ventures, I do think. That's the first level I like that I might short, $5.60.
Yeah, we're still hell of a long on Vinco Ventures, so let's wait to see where that goes, man. We still got long 64s right now with no offers, so hopefully that goes back up. So we already did have some offers out there, and they got hit. We just got hit at 90 there. We got hit at 85 off of a nice little reload there for BIG. Okay, so Palantir does come all the way back down. As this market just keeps on getting killed, we're going to have to wait. Okay, nice little move back to the upside. I was going to say we have to wait, but maybe not that long. As Palantir, I don't know, we're missing a chart, a fill down there, but it did go down to 15.10 right where we were sitting, and hopefully now we can bounce back to the upside. I have the bottom of Palantir being 15.10 exactly, yeah, same as E-Signal, okay, so that we did obviously get hit down there, and I'm not using dark pools or anything, so that was a lit order. I don't know. I don't have that fill. It looks like it's a ghost fill, but we are into that name downside on that, and the only trade that we're going to lose on today, it looks like, is going to be DWAC, and we're long here at 75. We just took a shot. I'm doing the same thing, but we do have some, maybe I have to fix my order here because I was waiting for 72 to break to the downside. That's going to be too far of a hit. It doesn't look like it wants to move that fast here today. So DWAC back down to 72 is probably a little bit too big. Maybe a 73.50 or so. If it breaks out back down through 73.50, maybe we'll get out on DWAC. That's right here. But we still have 72.50 at the high side. I don't know. I'm actually okay. I'm going to keep my 72 there. It'll be a big hit if it happens, but we're willing to do that. Look at Microsoft right now. Let's go, man. Mac and cheesy, easy for that one, as this just keeps on going to the upside. We love Microsoft, and there it goes, man. $4 now in the money, 50 cents in the money. I know you have AMC as well. That's a good one.
It's just flushing.
What is?
It's just still flushing.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to stop.
There's not even any size on the bid anywhere.
We're going to hold on to that one, though, if we can.
Yeah, and so it's weird. Like, I just got an accidental stop out on DWAC. I think I must have maybe keystroke, but I just got right back in at the same price. I did scalp some out at 74 to try to take a quick little buck there, and then if it holds this offer, the high of the day 75.50, I do want to try and get the rest out in front of 73. But this is when I don't want it breaking that high. So if we get a 75.50 break, I'm just out of DWAC. No need to fight it too hard there, but I did just have to jump back in after a bit of a keystroke error. Vinco Ventures, by the way, we're going to go to Brendan in a quick second. It broke 5. And then slammed back down on a failed break of 5, goes to 485, and then right back to the high. So it's still bullish. The stock is seeming like it's inevitable that it wants to go to that 560. Brendo.
Ugly day for Goldman, guys. GS, 8.5% to the downside here. Just made a new low on huge volume. 350 came and went there for GS, guys.
It's an interesting question. Someone just said in the chat, Neil, how come you never trade Palantir? I mean, today, it's like there's so much to look at. I have nothing against Palantir about trading it. It's just there's always so many things on the list. And, like I didn't even get into a firm today, which I want to do the short side. So there's a lot to be watching. I didn't even go over Palantir, to be honest, because you can only try to cover so much here. And Vinco, again, spikes up. It gets through that 5, looks like it's running, and then another slam back down. You know what? If it doesn't break 80, this looks like 80 to 85. If it holds that level, I still think it's trying to churn. It just looks like it's trying to shake you out up at the top here. But I'm trying to hold true to it. That SRGA, if it breaks, it's like a dollar stock. If it breaks 110, that's my out. Not really moving too much. It's been between 3s, 4s, and 5s. I'm short at 103 on that name. DWAC, I might have just missed an opportunity to get some out there again around VWAP. Yeah, so I look the gift horse in the mouth. I had a chance to get back out for another dollar scalp. I don't do it, and it breaks the top. So we'll win down to VWAP, and then we'll lose when it breaks the high of the day. Could have done a little bit better, but I was greedy on the DWAC short. At least it looks like for now.
All right, guys, if you need Palantir, come over to this side. We've been talking about Palantir for a long-ass time, and there it is, man. They set up again and bowl them over. Palantir, we talked about, we gave you this trade, hopefully, and hopefully you had it with us long here. We talked about why we like it, and there it is now. Big-time win for Palantir. Everything is now cruising, guys. We did get out of part of our, that's AMD. AMD cruising as well right now, nicely in the money, 70 cents. But our DWAC, we're in the money, but look, we got out at 74.50 there for part of it. As right now we take out 76. No offers now on DWAC. We were just getting a little bit nervous. I actually can cancel my 72 now. We're just getting nervous. I said, you know what, if I could take a 50-cent hit on it, we'd do that. And now we're going to the upside. Nicely done. So on that one, we'll see how far this one can go. We're at a very, very high spot now for us today as it's starting to go upside. BBIG starting to go upside as well. I think this is probably a spot you could take some off. Wow, look what we're doing right now. $5 in the money. Like, just bear with me here on these trades, guys, that we gave to you pre-market. $5 in the money on Microsoft. 40 cents, 30 cents in the money on Palantir. DWAC $1 in the money. BBIG 40 cents in the money. AMD 80 cents in the money. AMC 40 cents in the money. But our best out on AMC was 1880. Let's see, maybe that's a reload spot right now, but we are on one right now. So mind me, but I'm going to go ahead and get out some of these winning trades, man. Big time wins everywhere here.
Yeah, just watching Neuro, which in the halt right now, it should be a 10-minute halt. So we open up in a couple of minutes. This is the one that Brendan brought to you. Currently, it's only going to open at 7:10. That is still to the upside. But if you look over quickly to the daily chart, you're going to have the 200. I mean, they broke to 50. The 200 periods at about 7.25. So it looks like we're running into that level. And if you zoom in a little bit further, you can kind of see the choppiness that you have around that 725, around that 750. So it's quite a wide range. I think if it opens and tries to fail there, I'm going to go ahead and pay for shorts just in case. I'm almost out of AMC, but I've been trying to hold on to this and just think it's going to continue to fade off of that 1950 level and then just turn around on a lower high at about 1930 or so. So as long as it stays below 1950, I think I want to stay on the short side and not fight around with it too much. Brendo.
Blink, guys, popped up there in the pre-market on some GM-related news. Was just double-checking some volume coming back in here for BLNK, trying to head back to the upside. We got all the way up to 25.5 there, so heads up on Blink.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big win for us on Softy today. It looks like they like that deal, although the market's coming back up. So no surprise there that Softy's doing the same thing. And we also do cash out a little bit here on AMD, guys. Long 134. And again, if you're watching us, please share, like, retweet everything. Look what we had on here, long at 302. That's where we're long on Microsoft. It's a $5 winner. AMD long at 134, a $1 winner right now on that one. We'll look to see what Lucid dropped out. So we have to see what Lucid is because we were long 40. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to look at BABA and then AMC. That short through 1950 was an absolute killer trade. Okay, so this is what happened. So I didn't even realize this happened. We were too busy longing everything else. But Lucid long. So long at 40.20. We talked about that. Long again at 40.02. Dumped it out when it broke through. Got out at 39.80. It does make that bottom. So right now, Lucid trying to get going again off of that bottom of 39.20. It's almost like that needs to come through again. I'm debating taking a 40 break, which is happening right now. But last time it did that, it only got as high as 40.20 on that break. And even then, it actually scratched out like 40.15. So I don't know if the break's going to work here. We have a nice little bounce back, obviously. So things are rocking and rolling for us. But Lucid right now, if we would have held it, would have been fine. But the market was looking pretty sick there. So let's just go back to what we have. BBIG fails up there at 515. We're waiting for 550 to come through. And then DWAC goes up about a buck and change in the money. We're going to hold this one and see if it does want to climb. And then Palantir, man, wow. You want to talk about something that's a banger right now. Bang for Palantir back up to the upside. My largest position today as we take one fill, two fills, and love this trade. Every time we get lows on Palantir, we like it, especially when the market retreats. That's the key thing, obviously.
Yeah, Neuro did open up. It failed at 741, so tried to get through that churn, that quarter to 50 area. For now, it looks like a bit of a failure through that price level. I'll take a fade on this name in front of 50s if I can. See if we can get like 715 to 720. Just want to make sure the risk to reward does make some sense there. And some other names on the move here. That SRGA that I've been holding, it's now broken $1. So now that it's a penny stock once again, going to start getting a little bit more aggressive, taking some profit. But that was a simple, fade around one and then get it back to penny status. Brendan's got another name for us that was big last week.
I had a big move on Friday for some of the casinos involved in Macau. If you remember, LVS guys just went red to green, back to positive here through 43. Remember, huge day on Friday on that news.
Yeah, it made me think about Win right now, back to 90 and now 93. So big move for Win. Just noticing Microsoft stops at 308, obviously right on the dot. Pretty much 3 times there we've been up. So we could see if Microsoft retests that 108. That could be, 308. That could be a level that we look at to get out if it does come back upside. But we are obviously noticing that there are some tops here as well at 307.50. So yeah, just with a little bit of rhetoric here, obviously on Softy. So be very, very careful. Not rhetoric. I mean, they bought ATVI. So there's more news coming out in the minute about that deal, but we can check back on ATVI. ATVI, we did real good on shorting, and obviously we should have held that short $90 all the way down to 85. So yeah, wow. ATVI, if you want to get some nice capital here, you can buy the stock at 85. Close it at 95 a year and a bit from now. So we talked about that. That was an easy short, man. One of the easiest shorts all day once I realized that was 2023, but should have held on to it. We meant to hold on, but we got a bad wick there, which cost us to get out. So ATVI, we should have made infinitely more money on it, but we didn't. So there goes ATVI back down to the downside. But a good trade, needless to say. Let's take another piece out. Okay, that's it. So now we only have a small piece left on Palantir. What a great upside move here on PLTR, man. Great bottom pick there, and we do it all the time on this name. So there's Palantir. One of my favorite stocks to trade, just continues to print that cash.
Yeah, and I just got some shares at 96s and 97s on SRGA. We can ring the register a little bit later. But and Neuro is the one that's going to be a pain in the butt because it did make the turn that I wanted. It just couldn't give any. I thought this would have at least some legs to get back up to like 15s, 20s, maybe short up that 40 level. But this is the halt price at 680, and I'm never shorting it too tight to a halt price like that. To me, it's like maximum. Well, not maximum. It's like the risk to reward is just garbage, quite frankly, at that price level. Vinco Ventures. I'm only in the last little bit. We did get the pop. We looked for the dip buy and then the pop. It's still trying to go here. It's held that 85 several times and looking like it wants to try to make a run. But it is running out of steam here on Vinco Ventures, so I don't want to ignore that. Lucid Motors, another one that we're looking for. It's just never really given you that much of a pop to get in. Like, it's now back above VWAP above 40, but levels I like were up around that 42 range. And then NVIDIA, which was another tech name, look at NVIDIA just barcode off that 60, 61 area, so I'm not doing a heck of a lot. If I'm going to be aggressive into one of these to try to short, I look at a firm right here, and it's just at 3%. It's down 3%. It's close enough to that high that I can take a first step. The NASDAQ just bounced off the lows. The ES actually breaking its lows, or at least attempting to break its lows. So if there's going to be a time to pile into a weak name, I'm gonna go to the one that worked all last week. I mean, every time I shorted this, it seemed to be pretty good. So 68.5 is the current high. If it breaks that, I'll retest around 70.
You know what's really interesting here? AMD is like, you just mentioned that on their lows. I was like, what? The market's on their lows. But no, I mean, NASDAQ's close. But AMD was still pretty high up there. So a nice victory for us on AMD as we basically have the top here since we've opened. So that was a good trade. But right now you are coming back in. So I want to look at this like 133.60 area for AMD to see if we can get a bid if it does fall back down. So, you know, again, we've emptied out of a lot of these trades. Uber back, wow, Uber's back down to 40 bucks. What's going on with that name? Another name that's getting killed, not killed, but down today 3% on nothing. So watch out here for Uber down 3%. But we know the way these names go. I mean, Google's down 2.6%, Nvidia's down here 3% as well. So things aren't all rosy today in the market as the NASDAQ still down that 2%. It's funny because we don't have a losing trade on board, but it's been a little bit of a rough day here, back and forth. So I think we've been pretty lucky. What's up, Brendan?
Another favorite for the people who enjoy those low float stocks, guys. IMRN back higher again today, back to $4. Halted once already. It's trying to hold 4 on the way back down right now, but big week last week for this thing as well.
So finally got into a firm. Let's managed to get into one of these names here, 67.5-ish. I mean, a couple of pennies above that price. If it continues this consolidation game that it's doing at 67.50, it might make some sense at some point, maybe take a few shares off there and then start thinking about that 66 bottom. But for now, I just want to hold on. I mean, this market looks like it's trying to retest some of those lows. And if it does, I think we can get, you know, something in the more the dollar range for the first half as it starts to roll over here. So, you know, a firm, we sort of say this, like, go back to the well. There was the question, someone saying, why don't I trade Palantir? It's like, trade what works for you. Like in a firm, I've just had a better read on it, and for whatever the reason might be, so you stick to what you do best, which is not doing backflips, by the way. If I tried doing a backflip today, the way my back is feeling, I would definitely hurt myself. There was a lot of snow yesterday, Sean. And yeah, I'm going to be sore for a couple of days. But a firm already starting to work into that short. Alibaba was the other one they were looking for in that bad news. I'm going to go ahead and cancel my offer. 129.35 was that top on the 15-minute that I liked. But now I'm watching it consolidate double top here at 127.50. So there's an actionable level below it. If it makes a breakout from here, I would reassess at that 129 level. But BABA looking like it wants to roll over, and it's giving you a shot at 127.50. So, you know, it's not the level that I like, but it's definitely a consolidation at a reasonable enough price. If it takes out the high, I'll just get out and then go for the higher level that we like. But wanted Alibaba to the south side. It gives you an actionable pop to get into. So, I mean, the only long I've got is Vinco Ventures, and even that's starting to pull back. It's right back to those 60s. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you got to play with the trends here, and certainly it has been to the downside. I just wish I'd found a way into Lucid.
Guys, yeah, play with the trends or just play what's hot. DWAC right now, guys, 77.50. So we've had multiple dollar winners today on Softy. Now we're going to have another one right now on DWAC as we're long this one. And in charge, a 50-cent hit, right? Now we're in the money, $2.50 to the upside as DWAC starting to go. We're going to hold this one. No idea how far this one can go up. So we're going to hold this hopefully forever and just trade that accordingly onto the upside. A nice little win here for that. We have multiple dollars on Microsoft, multiple dollars on DWAC here today. We had a great trade. I just wish, it sucks that I had that stop order in because ATVI, we should have just went right back into the short. That was about as great of a short as you're going to find today, I feel like. And then BBIG, we did reload here. We didn't get out upside at 5, which we should have, but we did reload, and let's see how low we can go here. We still have our 440 in. If that breaks, and we're going to be gone on BBIG. Looks like that one may have, ran its course, per se. As there goes Microsoft, we reloaded!
Oh my God.
There on Microsoft, right there at VWAP, guys. That's what happens when, I say this all the time, but when you believe in a trade, sometimes it's easy to reload, but Softy, we like Softy. It's a good one as here it goes right back up to the upside. We just reloaded a minute ago, and now it's almost $1 in the money, so let's take a piece off here on Softy.
Yeah, I just got my reload on BBIG. We've only been looking at that one sort of area here, that 65-ish. We just got some shares above that at 66. And the last time I scalped at 75, and I think definitely going to be doing that again here on Vinco Ventures. It's still, look, it's well above that 440 pre-market level. It's well above that 330 from last week. So it's got some support, but at some point it's really going to have to start to get going here on Vinco Ventures because it's already put in a fail at 50-50 there. One other name to watch. I did get that leg out, the first leg out on a firm, but it is retesting back towards the 68 level because my stop through that high of the day. I do want a better price. If I average in or get more shares or reload, I want it tighter to 68 even if I can get it. Was that Brendan?
It was.
Dat Chat, guys, just popping up on some volume here, up 8% so far this morning. They came out about 8 o'clock saying that they've initiated their Web3 platform development for protection of NFTs and encrypted messages for DATs.
The thing is, we can get, I don't know if Michael's around, because if you can't get into your thing there. Okay, so Dat Chat moving around as well. We just took out some Microsoft there, sorry. We're doing too many things here at once. We've got our Microsoft moving around here as well. We just took that piece out. We like that. We got out at, what was that out at? 10s? So 80 cents in a couple minutes there as Microsoft continues to make a move to the upside. So we're watching out for that name going as well. Palantir still upside, but we did get out of that name. So we're not super worried about what our Palantir is doing right this second, but that's a good trade so far. And then DWAC, I don't know, man. I don't know where this name's going to go, but I'm pretty happy with it as it's up to 77.50. It's been a big win for us. So far, so good here on DWAC, guys. Hopefully we can touch that 80 mark, and then we'll cruise from there. So right now, DWAC near that 80 mark is something that I'm looking at for sure right now. So we've already touched 78.50. Let's see if we could take it out at $83 in the money on DWAC.
So I reloaded on that SGRA. I'm still actually holding about like a quarter of the position now that it broke the low of the day. And I'm basically looking for this cluster down here. It's like 82 to 88. I'll take one more leg out in front of the 90s. And if it breaks that, the rest of this I want to conclude in that 82 range. AMC just, look, we're not ignoring it, but it just made another push down. I'll get rid of the 15 minutes so you can see another push down. I never got the reload off of 50s, but it's trying to retake this 19 even area. Lower high, even dollar price level. We saw the 20 break hold 19.50 last week, so coming into this week, that was sort of the obvious level. If it holds 19, maybe it's got another leg in it, but I'm not covering anything at this point. We've already taken enough out, unless it breaks 19, gets to the low, or reclaims 19.50. So I'm not really adjusting the plan of action on AMC just yet. I do think it's at 19.15 level, or almost bust. The only thing that hasn't given me a profit target yet, well, sorry, not profit target, a take profit, I got one on a firm. I hadn't reloaded, I'm trying to reload on a firm, but Alibaba is still right in the same cluster. It did retest the high, not stop me out, and then come right back into 127. I'm not moving the stop. That means it's in a pretty good spot. If we were to break from here, I'll just accept that maybe the Munger bounce isn't dead just yet, even though they got bad news here from the U.S. Government looking into them. Vinco Ventures, it's still trying to base off of that 465 area, but has not even given me that first 10 cents worth of profit at 475. This needs to start to get going. I'd like to see that start to accelerate once again. Vinco's been a good one for sure, but I think it has some room to run to retest at least 75s, 85s, if not that $5 price area. And then I was looking, of course, at NVIDIA. Never really gave an entry in either direction. It's still barcoding off the bottom here. There might be a bit of a nothing burger. Got enough tech, I think, to the south side that I should be okay. Don't have to force it in NVIDIA. And that Neuro, it gave one spike off 7, still couldn't get into that 7.25 range, and is now below the halt price. So this one could be, it's looking like it's going to be a fade at least, probably till it tests like 6 even, but it hasn't even broken VWAP. Just a disappointing amount of volatility since the open. I looked for a structured short, it fell, it just never gave you the risk reward that I would have wanted. So going to stick with what is working for now. It's BABA that gives me the most concern. That could turn into a bit of a loser. It's flat right now, but it just can't seem to flush. Despite the market tanking and despite the bad news, BABA's still catching a bit of a bid.
Yeah, and there it is again, another one, another banger, bang, right there. We talked about getting into AMD at the low side, so there it is. We do that exactly as stated there. Now we'll see, wow, okay, AMD, maybe we can get you out now. I mean, we just took this bid, guys, 133.80. It's at 134.60 right now. That was 2 minutes ago we took that trade. As now we're starting to rock and roll to the upside one more time here. Wow, good trade there for us on that one. BBIG, I'm going to get some out at 480 if we can. That's right where VWAP is, so we'll see if that can go. AMC, I mean, again, thank you for watching the sticky note today, guys, because what we have on there is just a bunch of bangers one more time. Here it comes. Look what we're talking about. AMC short 21 if it ever got there, or short 1950 break, man. And since then, it's just been absolutely killer. Microsoft's been great. AMD's been absolutely fantastic off this 134, guys. I mean, you can see where AMD is right now. Nicely done to the upside, 133.80. We are now long on that, so that's going. BBIG, we're trying to get out, and DWAC came all the way back, so all the way up to 78, and then stopped. So now we have maybe a base of operations right around here, 75.50, but this could drop. We've already seen a big move to the upside. I don't know, man. I don't know why that didn't continue. I guess the buyers kind of ran out, but we'll see if DWAC wants to go back up here to 78.50, and then maybe we'll just take that out for the $3. But so far, so good, man. DWAC, $1 in the money. AMD, a big chime trade in the money as well for us. Palantir's big. Microsoft. I mean, everything today. What a great day to be a trader today as we go. No losing trades. Actually, I say that, but that's a lie because we did have Lucid on board that dumped out real early, but nothing that we've been managing today that's been a loser. So I think that's a pretty good day overall as the NASDAQ, considering that we're long, the NASDAQ's been nicely upside here in the last couple minutes, but you're still down 1.74%. How far is Microsoft? Wow, what a reload on Microsoft. Look at these reloads here. Nicely done to the upside. 308 just got touched again. I'm thinking that we might well just take that out. 308 on Softy is pretty high up there. But I guess without any further ado, we'll go over to Brendan at the big screen with Mr. Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock happening now, brought to you by sharevision.com. Lots of red numbers right across the board. Pretty ugly day over in Europe as well. We were noticing the Turkish market halted limit down, and they've now said they're not going to reopen today. So pretty volatile over in Europe this morning as well. 1.4 here for the S&P, the Dow 1.47, 1.5% now. The Russell about 1.3 to the downside for all of them. The NASDAQ leading 1.75, 1.8 there. For the 100 to the downside here in Toronto, about 0.9. There is some strength from energy stocks, as we've seen with the move in crude oil continuing. Here's Goldman. Yeah, the call wrapped up, and they started to buy it up off of 346, but volume, not the greatest on the buy side compared to that selling that came in. Pretty ugly for Goldman. Been a long time since it's been down 8% on the day. Oil, on the other hand, and all things related, impressive, man. Like XOM still going here, 73.5 just taken out there, guys. Day highs for XOM. Go over to sharevision.com, guys. See thousands of streams and videos on financial charts and analysis at sharevision.com. Check them out.
Finally, we'll complain enough about Vinco Ventures and it finally gets a view up. So do get some out there at 75, the same price that we're looking at on the way up when it spiked. And I'll go back to the same well. We break VWAP. I'm going to get the next leg up between 90 and 95 once again. It just feels like if it breaks 5, there's going to be longs to be had. Like breakouts, you can take breakouts, you can buy consolidations. There's no point. It's done 65 million shares, right? There's no point being too stubborn about it. But if we break that 65 level, I think 40 is your next leg. Going to drop it over to Miss V, who's got a name for us.
Hey Neil, we've got a new member, Christine Angelico. Welcome to the family, welcome to the green side. I hope you're having a great day. And guys, I want to remind you that it's a like o'clock. So if you forgot or just joined us, please make sure to smash the like button. We have 7,000 people watching and only 1,100 likes. So please support the community and go along on the like button. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna continue. Like I talked to you guys a little bit about the SRG. SRGA, I should say. It just popped to that 90 level, so again, going to be getting more shares out in front of it. Now we've gotten everything we're going to take in front of this. If it breaks 90, the rest out, I'm going to get some bids. It's a penny stock, obviously, but it was over $1. And I see this BBI, this other one that some people are talking about, up like 60%. 30-cent stock, it's moving. The volume's actually pretty good, so I'm probably not going to ignore this one all day long, but certainly the bigger levels in this are a little bit higher, and I'm kind of looking back towards like when it had its big spike down from 60 cents, about 40 to 42 cents looks a little bit sexier. Maybe day 2 it'll get there, but the volume's intriguing enough that I might have to put a trade on. Affirm is getting close to that low of the day. Now, obviously, I didn't get the entry. There we go, Affirm on the NASDAQ. Oh, load, do it, give it to me. There we go. Getting pretty close to that low of the day. Cracked 66 once. We're able to short it off the consolidation. We're able to short this pop and have it work out. Alibaba does not, so tried in Alibaba. Didn't get the 129. It could head to that area still. Affirm starting to work. I am on the bid in front of this low of the day to get out of Affirm, although I am holding on to AMC shares, which still look like they're headed to the downside. And we're going to track AMC. I'm just going to throw it out there if you're watching. Come on. There we go. GameStop as well headed right down to its low of the day. It's down 7% and getting very close to, it's not there, but it's getting close to 100. So the same way 20 was a big level on AMC, this week 100 on GameStop will obviously be one too.
I mean, AMD, guys, wow. Look at that reload. Double the pleasure, double your fun on this reload to the upside right there. Wow. I mean, we reloaded it to the downside, hoping that it pops up to the upside right now. So what a good trade that's apparently going to be here as we continue to reload AMD when it gets down here to 133.80, then out again quickly for 25 cents. And now we'll see how high it does go back up to the upside. Sitting here around 50 was probably a good idea for AMD. Let's see if we can just put an order there and sit there and get that around that 40
Vinco's
mark.
Gonna halt.
Right there. Vinco Ventures, a big trade for me as well. Looks like that's going to halt right now. You got any more?
No, it's weird, man. Like I kind of feel like this is a trade that's gotten away. Whoops, why is it still on this penny stock? So yeah, my level 2 didn't switch. Apologies, guys. I had my level 2 that I was trading on, and then the one for you guys in the show didn't switch. But we try to get these bids or offers when it goes in that 15-second hold state, and it's getting super, super crowded, right? So no matter how fast you are, it just seems like the liquidity maybe not there. It was printing a ton. Like it was definitely printing a ton at the 31 bid. I can cancel. I don't really need to have these still out there. But yeah, it was trying to get long as it just had a monster volume spike right into a halt trade. It's tapping 531 for now, but that 560 level on the daily is going to be there if it opens back up higher, and I want to be covering in front of that. Brendan.
Just seeing this note on coals, guys. Cassia Research apparently interested in coal. So a little bit of a pop there on volume up to 49 for KSS.
All right, so we were trying to be as patient as we possibly could, man. We waited for this Alibaba short. So right now we're short into Alibaba. We'll see if it fades off this 128. We're looking at 130 as an out. So if Alibaba still wants to go up, then we will get clocked out of this one. But I mean, we don't want to really get involved until it gets a lot higher than this, like a serious amount of shares. So right now, Alibaba, wow, AMD. So we're watching Alibaba. I mean, I'm still going to watch out for that one as it's starting to go back up to the upside. But AMD right now, $1 plus now in the money for AMD. So really super happy with the way that one's performing. You can see the NASDAQ really starting to go. Look at this, man. Boom on Microsoft. Wow. As this is up to 309, guys. Wow. We are just completely on fire right now, guys. DWAC. Yes, sir. Bang on DWAC. Yeah. Wow, this has been honestly one of the better days for me here today as everything is working out. Right now we sit in this Alibaba trade, but we don't need to do this. We can get out of this one. It's not a big position. Hopefully it comes back down into the downside, but in the market ripping right now, $3 in the money, $3 in the money, 80 cents in the money, $1.20 in the money, 40 cents in the money, 55 cents in the money, and that's it. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How could you have 7 positions in all of them right now in the money? Well, I mean, I guess obviously I'm looking at Alibaba out of the money. So 6 for 7 right now in my newest position right now, Alibaba out of the money. So we'll have to watch it. I mean, I'm still looking at that 130, but I don't want to average in until we get up to that level. So we'll wait to see if Alibaba continues to go. I'm not going to give back that much on this. If we're wrong, we're wrong. We're going to wait for 130 to come on Alibaba. But right now, man, we are cruising with a lot of these names.
So I see people like in the chat. If you're just tuning in right now, if you're watching Vinco Ventures, it's in a volatility halt to the upside. So indicating it's going to open pretty much flat. I'm seeing 5:30. It halted at 5:31. The time it should open up 5 minutes will be just after 10:10. Sometimes they're 10-minute halts, but I can't see why it would be anything other than just a regular 5-minute halt here. So Vinco will open up. We're both in it, so we're going to be trading this one. 560 is a level I like on the daily. At least, I mean, you look at it back here on the daily chart. This is kind of where I thought, it gets to this price level, you might have a bit of a pull up and then some consolidation because that's where the chunk was before. So that's what I'm going to look to do on Vinco. I was already wrong once in Alibaba, although I did force this trade, and there's no question about it. Like, I forced Alibaba at this level when it was a 129.35 price that I liked on the daily chart. So when it comes to that price, I'm now shorted again, but rather than average into it, we get out and then get back in on the short that I'm going to like there. Also going to get a chance to hopefully, we'll see, you might get a chance to reload on a firm. That bounced down all the way to the low of the day. We're able to get it all out. I'm back on the offer in front of 68. So going to try and rinse and repeat this one, a firm. That has worked rather nicely. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
Just checking on Coupang, guys. Red to green move there on Coupang. They announced a new partnership today. I guess that was overnight. But CPNG just popping up here on some buy volume, I guess, through that pre-market high there.
All right. So we're into a probably, might be our last shot here for Alibaba. We just took a 129 flatter, so we'll get a little bit higher than that. As like I said, I don't want to be in this for too long. Already in it for too long as it is. So if Alibaba wants to work, which it apparently wants to, then yeah, we'll lose on this trade. But right now, we are just cruising, man. Look at AMD right now, all the way back up. We've reloaded this name a couple times. Back up to 136. This is probably a good area to get out. But again, I don't want to get out of anything until my Alibaba trade is sort of settled down, because I'd rather, like, all these longs are really just sort of discounting now that Alibaba trade. $4 in the money right here for Microsoft as well. So if the market keeps on going, we should be able to hold on to some of these longs and then just wait to see if we get cracked out of Alibaba or not. We have a lot of names here to sort of cover this loss if we have to, including DWAC right now as well. $3 in the money on DWAC as it just touched 79. So hopefully that name continues to make moves too to the upside. Win. Wow, what a good win that one's been for us in our longer term account, up to 93 and change. WYNN continues to work for us. And the only concern right now is Alibaba.
Vinco just reopened. It got as high as 545. I rang the register up there. That's close enough to 560. I'm not short the stock, but if I think 560 is the top, I'm not going to fail to get out of my long in front of it. So it does a bit of a turn right now. It's still, it was just holding below the whole price at 530. I'm going to let it settle itself down in this price range. 560 was the level I like. That was enough to try to get the top there and get it out. I just got stopped out again on Alibaba through the top. So look, it just took out that 129.5. Gonna get in, get out of it, and then see if it holds 130. Maybe I'll take another shot. But I also just got back into a firm off of its high at 68. I want to make sure I got a better price. I got 67.5 last time. It gave you $1.50 towards that low, playing inside of the range. But this market, by the way, and this is the reason why I'm not already reloading or adding to this this Affirm trade. This NASDAQ is just bounced and is going to retest some of these early morning levels. And if we break that out, I don't want to be sitting caught short Affirm here when these names are starting to break to the upside. Speaking of one, did not quite, we tried to give some room to SoFi, but if you have a stop, you got to take the stop. It breaks, holds 1250, and is now gonzo. And guess what just broke? Also broke to the upside. AMC. Breaking back towards that above that 1950. I actually did not mean to get long, so I'm going to pay a little bit of spread to get out of that one. But that came all the way back. My last leg out on AMC was down here at 1890, but I was still holding the short. It reclaimed 1950, so I'm going to get out of that one. Now just left with that penny stock, which is still getting crushed. That's SRGA, and of course the firm, which has not broken out the top. But the market in a bit of a recovery mode heading back to the upside. Look at that double bottom here on AMC specifically.
I don't know what AMC is going to do right now, but we re-shorted it right here. So we did take a short again at 30. We got out at 50. Now we'll see. We did take another short. We are willing to get, obviously, if you take out the high on AMC, we're going to be out of that one. So we'll wait to see what AMC does here now. But everything else is working, man. Microsoft continues to take out some levels. And if we want to look for a little bit of a higher frame here, I mean, 310's been bouncy pretty good for softies. So you're up to 310. That should be out if you guys want that. I mean, we're already huge in the money on this name. So Microsoft, I'm trying to hold it to see what Alibaba does. But Microsoft right now still making moves to the upside, looking at 310. That should probably get taken out maybe there if you did like that. AMC's pulling back a little bit, but not much. AMD still at days high, up to 136. That's probably a name that we can wind up taking out now. This could be your trade of the day. I mean, all of these reloads down here and then right back up to days high. AMD's a good one here. Probably let's get out of this AMD. It's still negative on the day. Well, I mean, I don't know. We're really nice, man. Up to 136. So maybe we want to hold this. I am on the bid though, trying to get out a little bit here of Alibaba. If we can pull back down just a little bit, we'll get out of this name here. So Alibaba, just pull back down a little bit. We'll take a piece out here in the 20s to take a little bit of a hit, and then we'll see if it continues to flush down here as the market is coming back. So maybe AMD out up top isn't a horrible idea.
Yeah, and just going to go to Brendan quickly. Vinco continues to roll. It's going to get down to VWAP here, it looks like. Could be a reload off 65, but VWAP also looms before that. Brendo, what do you got, bud?
Just saw Ford, guys, back to day lows here, 2460-ish, I guess, down 2%. They just said one of their plants in Michigan going to be halted all week long because, hey, they ran out of chips again.
Chip shortage? What? Huh?
There's AMD, guys. Yeah, big time trade there for AMD. And yeah, that's a good sign for Ford. So I don't know why that's a bad sign. But right now, I mean, this is the kind of trading that we're doing on AMD today. Bang, 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 out at the highs. So good trade there. We dumped it. I was happy with where it was. I feel like if the market does fade out, which it was trying to do there on the NASDAQ, that I would regret not taking that out. So, hey, if it continues to rip up and you guys, can hold a little bit more than I can there. 133.80 was the long, 135.80 is the out. So that's $2 right there for us. That's catapulting us pretty good. So can't be more happy with that trade than we are right now. So AMD, nicely done to the upside. We're just going to see if we can maybe do the same thing here with Softy if it gets to 310.
Yeah, so we got the reload in a firm, just down to that in SRGA. I'm still looking for the next entry point in BBIG. It has pulled back pretty significantly, but if you look at this, it's holding $5 on a dime. Like, this is actually 5 even, without there being much of, like, it's not size bid or anything, it's 5. I just think it's an even dollar level that is trying to hold up. If this gets cracked, I think it's right back to 465. Like, that was the perfect price pretty much all morning long, and I don't want to get too far away from it. Going back, SGRA, by the way, broke 90 cents, so I think it's headed, it's right into that 82 to 90 cluster where I want to get the last of those shares out, but that's continuing to just fall like an absolute rock. If you go back over to Lucid, because this market's starting to rally, and the one that was missed to the short side was 100% Lucid, it just never gave any kind of a pop. The lockup expiration is tomorrow. 42.50 and 43.50 are big levels, but the current pre-market high at 41.50 very much in play. Let's see if it gets a run into that price range, because I'm looking for an opportunity to short Lucid, and with this market recovery, we could finally be getting our first crack at that. And another name which we did talk about a little bit earlier, was on the watch list, but I don't know if it got covered, was that IO. If you're watching this IO, it's a very similar story to SRGA. Where it was just a fade. Once these things break $1, you just got to be very careful. Once these high gappers get above $1, if they can't hold that level at the open, it tends to get pretty weak for the rest of the day. So add IO to that list. And then, of course, Tesla, not to ignore it. I think obviously you're getting a huge breakout. There's too much happening this morning. 1040. Look, it is what it is. You can kind of look at that level. It holds on the break and pulls right back into about that 1040 and is now going absolutely gangbusters. It's only up 1.5%. I know the chart looks much more impressive than a 1.5% move on Tesla. But, and I'm going to throw a little bit of a but here, if you were trading this last week, you probably remember the 1075, the 1080 area being some resistance here. So Tesla on the run, on the move. I'm not fading. Like I'm going to try shorting Lucid over Tesla here. That's just a matter of preference because of the lockup. But it's getting both these are getting into some levels where you could anticipate a return. Nice move for the market here, but starting to turn some of those shorts into potential breakouts. Affirm is the last one standing for me that isn't a penny stock.
Looks like we got, and I'm almost the complete opposite I was going to say to you guys here today. I'm trading absolutely everything. Your AMCs of the world, the big caps, the AMDs, the ATVIs, although that should still be short on ATVI. We're trading even the breakout stocks. BBIG I've got on board. I've even got DWAC on board for you guys as a winner. We have Microsoft with a big cap, big time movement. And then we've got Palantir kind of middle of the way. So yeah, we're trading everything for you. So hit the like button if you guys can. If you haven't done that yet, please do that. Hit the like button one more time. We get out of our AMD a little bit too early, probably. It rips all the way to 136.30 there. So not sure what was up with that, but I always seem to get out of the wrong ones. Like if I just got out of Microsoft at the high, that would have been fine, right? We don't. We pick AMD. So that's okay. But there we go. Another win. Hopefully AMC, AMD. We play the alphabet game. Hopefully this can come back down as we're short again hopefully near the top of this move. And you know what? With that being said, let's put a bid here at 29, see if we can't take something out here as we approach that 1925 area that we just bounced off of. So right now, all is well, man. We're almost near the high of the day. We just got to hold on for dear life here on Alibaba and see if that one wants to come back down. Did that really touch 129 flat? Okay, hopefully that comes back down and we'll have a winner for you on Alibaba. But right now, that's our losing trade, and we're waiting on that. And then DWAC, I don't know, man. 78.50 is looking pretty good there for $3 winner. Maybe we should take it. But DWAC getting a little greedy, and sometimes that's a good thing. We'll roll the dice with DWAC, but Brendan's over there with Neuro. He brought this to us earlier. Let's check out our small cap of the day.
Hey guys, yeah, a little one popped up late on in the pre-market this morning. If you joined us between 8:30 and 9:30, this was kind of the area I was referring to when I mentioned the 7 to 750 is the top end of that range. Same lines on the intraday chart. So I personally did a pretty good job of avoiding this on the way up. It does fail up there after that haul. It comes back through 7. So needs to hold 7 here if it's going to test lower. Going to be patient with NURO. Not really doing much right now, though. BBIG, I took one shot at this in the pre-market and kind of got away from it, but did give you a really nice opportunity to the long side of things. Obviously, short, very high short percent on BBIG. So if you zoom out a little bit, this is where we were trading back on Friday. So, I mean, 380, 360 was kind of support on this. If you want to get tighter, 450 if it's below 450, but probably not today, guys. Back over to you.
So if you're looking at some of these, I mean, there were some related names to ATVI that had some moves to the upside. One of them was Skills. It's like, this is what happens. We talk about that spike news. If it's a sympathy play, you might want to make sure you take your profit and get away from it. It turned red on the day and still actually continued. Well, it got a bit of a bounce. It's still red on the day, but it was a huge decline off those pre-market levels. And if you look at EA Sports, it's basically the same thing for EA. Like, it got the spike on the news, the sympathy play. It spiked again at the open and has faded right back in. EA is trying to catch a bid at 137. And look, if you had shares of EA, look, you bought this one in the pre-market, and when there was a halt going on in Activision, it's like, take your win, right? Like, there's nothing fundamentally about it that won today, except for the fact that you had a related name in the industry that's getting bought up. So if this breaks 137, it could start to flush a little bit. I got out the second time. The first trade, of course, on a firm, we got out at the bottom. It then tested the high, got in front of the high of the day. It's now broken and trying to roll over. So I didn't quite make top wick, but it's pretty close to it. I'll get back in this. If it consolidates and is now put in a 69 high, I'll definitely get back into that. I'm out of Vinco Ventures, but we're not done with this stock yet. It just retested the halt price at about 530. So some signs of pulling back. It never broke 5 even. Ignore that dark pool wick. It never broke $5. So we can sort of forget about that 465 and getting that price for the time being. But the halt price at 530, once something halts and then fails above that price, I do look for a short. I know this has been one of the most bullish names out there, so you want to make sure you have an out. But 530 is pretty reasonable if I can get the risk right. Like, inside of 10 cents, I think was about the price that I'll try to get. Don't want to pay too much more than that because I think I'm covering in front of $5. But Vinco Ventures, the volume going to cross 100 million shares pretty quickly here. So want to make sure we're still staying active. And someone asked, what are we looking for on Lucid? I mean, I keep wanting like 41.5, 42.5, 43.5, and it doesn't want to approach any one of these levels, even with the market trying to spike there. Lucid just can't seem to get anywhere close. And if I can't, like, to me, I'm wrong at 41.5 breaks. I'm wrong at 42.5 if it breaks. I'm wrong at 43.5 if that breaks. That's three separate shots I want to take, but I'm taking no shots unless I get a trade at my level. I'm already 0 for 2 trading Alibaba, which has continued to grind higher, but that's get in, get out, get in, get out. With Lucid, it hasn't even given me the first part of that equation.
Money. I mean, who wants some DWAC love right now? I mean, DWAC rate, I mean, a monster trade here for DWAC and just continues to work, man. I told you we're not getting out of this name, and I don't really have any intentions of doing that as DWAC's up to $79. So, I mean, we're long here at 75. We've given you, if you're looking for multiple dollar winners, we have them on all kinds of names today. AMD, we have it on. We have it on, well, we're going to hopefully have it on Alibaba. We have it on Microsoft, monster levels on Microsoft. And then here comes back to the downside, hopefully AMC. I mean, Microsoft right now, 309. It looks like it's getting a little heavy up here. So we've bounced around a little bit too much. You know, again, a nice profitable name for us today. Probably looking for some targets out on Softy. And I don't want to always use the most obvious places, like, you know, breaking back down below 308.40, like that should be our out. But I'm trying to like also make some profits here as well and trying to take something out on the high side, right? So as you could see, this is a good play that's working for us. Our Alibaba, we really limited the damage there. We got out at 129. 129 flat or 129.01, something like that right there. So really limiting the damage as now it comes back to the upside, but we only have half of this trade back on now. So that's going to be a good one that's working out for us. AMC, we're waiting. I touched on that briefly, but we're waiting at 19 flat there. So we'll see if that's coming through for us. But right now, Softy continues to work. DWAC is now, guys, chicken dinner winner, man. Throw away the lobster, throw away everything, but just buy as much chicken as you possibly can with this DWAC trade, as we're now $4 or $5 now in the money. Going to take out 80 right now. So yeah, sometimes it pays to hold on to these names, and I think I got to do this more often. DWAC for a beautiful win. Like those, look at this, 450 in the money on DWAC, right? A completely different trade, but same result. 450 in the money on Microsoft as we're taking it out right now. So big time trading happening over here, guys. Thank you for watching. tradertv.live. Make sure you hit the like button as we are going ham here once again today.
Yeah, and just over at the SRGA, it's now broken. It's broken the 85s already. So I'm looking, I got my bids already down. This is the cluster if it has support. And again, if you like buying these things on the dip, this is probably the area you want to do it in front of, but it's already given it all back. Like I said, I seriously doubt that this gets back to $1, but if there's one thing I've always learned, when you get these breakdowns, if it makes a bottom in front of the obvious support level, no averaging into the short till it gets to $1. I would not retake this short unless it's at 98 or 99 cents. This thing is, I've seen it happen. It's happened to me on Sundial, so no averaging back into it if it comes back up. Vinco tried to take out the top again, got to 45s and turned, so that 560 level still in play, Brendo.
Just seeing a former guest on this show, guys. Our friends over at Cardial Therapeutics, been on the show, CRDL, up 16%. On the day. So just double checking, there was nothing new that I can see as far as headlines are concerned, but heavy volume here. Pretty good day it looks like on Friday as well, back above $2. But shout out to our friends over at Cardial Therapeutics, guys.
BBIG, I saw someone type in BBIG halt, Superfly tie. BBIG is not halted.
No,
it's still trading right around. It's
still
high.
Ripping.
It's still at that high of the day, that 545 where you're looking for the breakout. I like 60s on the daily chart if you're quickly looking at that, but it got up here before and turned at this exact same price. So, I mean, I don't like 45s long for a break because you have 50s and you have 60s sort of sitting there, but, you know, obviously this is one that you have to watch. It's getting pretty bullish. I'd much prefer it taking out that 60 level on the daily chart than taking out 545. I know that sounds counterintuitive. It's a worse price, but it is some resistance that it would have to clear through, guys. And Lucid's starting to get pretty close to that top as well. Being patient, waiting for Lucid. It just ticked up to 41.25. Had an opportunity to maybe catch some quarters, but it just snapped right back down. So once again, like it wasn't up there for very long. If it holds in that price range, then I can finally get into the Lucid short. But BBIG at the high of the day, that's going to be the one to get into. And I am looking at that Neuro. I'm not ignoring Neuro. But it's sort of like this is the whole price at 680. It's been barcoding off of this level. I'd almost like to see it break this, sort of fail break, trap some longs, and then try and get into the short. Otherwise, I kind of feel like you're just stopping out at 715. And 725 was the price I had originally wanted. Here it goes. It's going to try and put that move on. So it just broke out of this range at 85, ticked above, and then came right back to the downside. So maybe that is the entry I want.
And my hands are freezing up in
the
here
window never mind.
For some reason here. Okay, so 130 flat. We're still short Alibaba. We'll see what happens here against, oh, that's the wrong stock. Against 130.25. We'll get out of Alibaba if it does break above, which it looks like it's trying to do right now. What's up, Brendan?
Farfetch, guys, just popping up here on a huge volume spike. Just double checking, there was nothing on them. But yeah, huge volume came in there for FTCH at 27. Back to green for them as well.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just sort of describing this halt price at 680 on Neuro, sort of bouncing off it a couple times. It then broke 85 and did another snap down. Like, okay, well, that's going to get me in. So I just got in at 75s, and maybe it's a bit of a trap. I'm going to keep it a relatively tight stop. I'm not giving this to 725. I'll probably give it to like 7 even. And if it breaks that, try and re-enter the short up at the high of the day. So into Neuro. I just talked about Lucid possibly getting me into it, and then of course, you know, like Lucid, it's barcoding once again. I'm not chasing. I'm going to actually put an offer in at the 41.25 range because I know 41.50 is going to be a stop anyways. I might as well have my offer locked and loaded on this name. And just going back to one from the morning, look at SoFi breaking out. So this is what happens sometimes you follow your rules and it doesn't work out for you. So I had my stop just below that 65 support. It broke it, goes another 5 cents, got out. It then turned around on a dime and is breaking to the high. Still down on the day, but a good V-shaped recovery for Lucid. And that's why not forcing my way back into some of these shorts. We allowed them to work a couple of times. If it doesn't the third time through, you got to notice that there's an overall bounce happening in these markets. Checking back in on Vinco. Wow, I thought so Vinco, yeah, headed right back into the downside. It kind of looked like it was about to make that break, and I was ready to take the 560 potential breakout if it took that 545. Starting to slide back in. $5. There was a big level of support here just a few minutes ago. Let's see if it can hold up a second time. I'm still looking to see if I can't buy the dip there or 465.
So yeah, all right, let's just talk about some of these names that we have on board. So Baba, the chasing is done. We're done with that name. We chased it, took it some out, chased it again, and then all the way up, breaks higher. So that's good. I mean, Alibaba is nice to get them back, hopefully back into the green level right now. JP Morgan, and again, let's just talk about XLF, man. Like I gave everyone advice, and you know, hopefully to get out of this one at 41.60 or so, you're down to 39 as XLF getting killed here on bank earnings, right? And we talked about that. I said every time banks come out and report, they all pretty much always go down. It's very, very hard for them to be not conservative, and I think that's what's happened here again as banks coming back to the downside. You can see XLF. I'll probably start buying some of this very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. As there it goes again, guys. DWAC takes out 80, and now it's like we are just honestly in cruise control right now as DWAC is now huge in the money, man. $6 in the money right now on DWAC as our net just climbs like ridiculously high right now, so it's really been good little run for us here as DWAC now through 81. And we just put out a tweet, guys. Hit me up on Twitter and let me know, like, you know, are you guys still in? We are still in DWAC, right? Let me know if you guys are, right? No, you're the only one. Good one there, Glenny Trade. DWAC, just remember the truth will prevail. Okay, we'll say yes to that because we are long right now, 81.70 up to the upside right now for DWAC as, yeah, wow, good trading happening here. Find me on Twitter at tradertv.live and find Brendan right over there at the big desk.
I just saw Bitcoin trying to bounce here, guys, back above 41,750, I guess. The Silvergate we mentioned, trying to get back above that level right there, 115.5, trying to hold right now as support for Silvergate. Important levels, though, still decent volume for SI. As we said, it has been quite a volatile day over in Europe. Crazy action over on the Turkish market. Miss V is watching what's happening over there. What's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are trading lower, and as you said, Turkey has been holding until the end of this trading session. In terms of individual names, used car dealer Auto One trading in Germany is down more than 3% after posting its fourth quarter earnings. Back to you.
Yeah, markets on this side of the pond trying to get back to the downside as well here. Day lows, it would appear, coming, guys.
Yeah, and obviously Turkish market's going crazy. CFEI, remember that's a sympathy play. That's a related name to DWAC. That's why you're seeing it run. I see people talking about the chart here, but it's double topping. What I think you would probably be more interested in doing, because you're chasing a top when it's not the leading name in terms of the move, is waiting for any kind of a capitulation in DWAC, and then you'd probably be watching a top in CFEI. But it does nowhere near the volume. It doesn't have anywhere near the same sort of volatility. So I get it; it's a decent looking chart, but that's not the one leading. That's not the one leading the charge here, and I think you can get caught up sometime. If you're going to trade it, make sure you are watching DWAC as well. Vinco continues to hold that range, and Neuro, like I said, got into this one. It's continuing to barcode. I am going to cover some in front of this floor at about 650, 640, because if it breaks 640, I think it's an add. It still has the juice, potentially, to break back out and retest that 750 high. But it's got a pretty clear top that I think is actionable. And, of course, this is going to be a firm. I take my lumps and get out at 68.50. Never got the re-entry when it broke 69. But it's still holding VWAP, so it feels like it's still in the midst of a V-shaped recovery. I'd much rather it consolidate up at the high and get a short that way, as that's the name I always love to pick on for the short.
I mean, the cash is just falling in, and I'm literally just sitting here doing absolutely nothing, which is what I advise all of you to do. As right now, we have a $9 winner on DWAC. And I actually, it's funny because did we sort of foresee this? One of the best things ever put together by Rob, I think, who put this together, was this DWAC highlight reel. So I'm going to put this on here. This was last time, and I actually just pinned this, Go Pack Go. I actually just pinned this to my Twitter account, I guess. This is from January. No, it's not from January 14th. I forget when this is from, the first time that DWAC went nuts. But definitely have a look at this one. It's my favorite thing of all time. Even have Trader Prad going crazy in there as well. But this is when it's 50, it's 60, it's 70, it's 170. So you can see this is as DWAC going crazy here. Definitely, guys, view that. It's very, very popular there on Twitter and lots of fun. It's my favorite. And it's a lot of yours favorite as well, which is why we put it back up. But right now, guys, $8 right now. The money on DWAC and continuing to go up. So not only are we trading big caps, Microsoft, Affirms, AMDs, Alibabas, AMCs, I guess AMC's Russell, but AMC's, BBIG, look at this, still holding this one at the top of the day right now, BBIG. So let's see if it takes it out. Although that 550 is, definitely a good spot to get out. But we're not getting out of anything as DWAC right now, $83 and still pumping higher, higher, higher. So yeah, we're definitely, at our highest spot we've been at all day today. And I'm sorry for all the apes out there, but yep, we reloaded. So right now we reload that crazy trade as we turn into the devil on AMC as, you know what? Look at this one. All the way to the downside. Another one. We did get stopped. We reloaded it back up there. And there it is. A nice little win again for AMC down to the downside. So yeah, man, I mean, we are super, super happy. And thank you, Yvonne there, talking about the NFL parlay that we had. Plus, it looks easy now, right? But I mean, I gave it to everybody there. I have to go see the chat. We had Bills money line. We had Niners plus 9.5 that we didn't need. We had Chiefs minus 7. And then we had Bucks, Eagles plus 41 with, again, another cash. So yeah, hey, we sit here, hopefully we add to the stacks, we go home and add to the stacks even a little bit more. So far so good here. It's 10:35 and we're super happy with everything. What a great day to trade.
If you guys are watching DWAC, you watch this level on the daily chart, you're going to have a couple of days. This was a pullback that it had when it went absolutely ham. The next 2 days, you had a close, reopen, fail at about $87. So 85 to 87. That's where I'm looking at that might be a little bit of a turn. As I say that, it just got to 84 and put in a $1.60 flush. So no one ever went broke taking profit. Make sure that you have yourself some profit on a move to the upside because it's getting to the prices where it actually makes some sense to start thinking about a bit of a fade. Firm pullback to VWAP, so I'm going to miss out on that one. Lucid pulling back into 40.50, guys. And I know, Dominic, BBI, that penny stock, I looked at it. It's got some interesting levels. That gets to 42. It's definitely got some room to that 42 level. it's starting to slow down. It's got a very similar chart to BBI Vinco Ventures here, where it's pulling in a VWAP and got a double top. I'd much rather see it consolidate and break more than anything. The risk reward might be there at some point on BBI, but it just wasn't as interesting for me as Neuro and SRGA, even that IO, which I didn't end up getting into a trade in. But there are some moves being had on BBI. You just have to consider if you're trading this stock and it's 31 cents, on a 31-cent stock, if you take 2 or 3 cents, it's actually a very, very good return. So make sure you're open to scalping it, because right now that's all you're getting, 31 to 34, back and forth, back and forth. Not a horrible trade, but I'm already sitting here with Neuro and SRGA, which is very, very similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here in these trades as well. I mean, BBIG is starting to come back in. So I think even right here at 526, probably, not a horrible spot to think about getting this out right now if it does break lower. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go from here, but BBIG could retest back downside. We're super happy with this trade as it is. So we're happy just kind of leaving this alone and seeing where we go. On that one, the other name that we've sort of just been waiting on here is Palantir. It does go all the way up to the upside. This is another name that's been an absolutely home run for us. We haven't, the only thing that's really screwed up for us has been Alibaba, and now it's in the money. So if you weren't as conservative as me, then you're fine. And if you wait for 130.50, then you're fine. I didn't. I got out at 25 break. We had to give this one 20. Look at this. I mean, you give it 25 more cents, and I'm in a huge win right now. So, I mean, that's part of the problem when you're day trading here. You sort of look at levels and you try to make the best call that you can. And unfortunately, on that one, we missed out on that. Should have held this a little bit longer on Alibaba and we would have been fine. But still a losing trade there. So we can look at that. BBIG still bouncing. AMC, where's AMD gone right now? Okay, so that's a great out for us. Like I was debating. Remember, I was like, we always pick the wrong one. But this time was good, man. We got out of AMD. The only thing that we're holding on to, and a little bit foolishly it seems like, is going to be Softy, as we've already identified this 10 as a top numerous times and could have taken it out every time, but we didn't. So we could definitely have a look at that one coming through on Microsoft, 310-ish or so on that level. So, but right now, man, it's all about DWAC for me, and we'll continue to floss it off as this name continues to ride high, man. Wow, that got to 84. You know what? Maybe we'll just take a dime, and that's $10. We'll take that on DWAC. If it gets back up to 85, that seems silly not to do it. I mean, it's a $10 winner on DWAC, guys. For me, that's great. I mean, we're scalping out pennies, and I could put 10 in the pocket. Might be worth it.
I mean, percentage return definitely going to be fantastic with that one. Hunter Dixon, thank you for the super chat. But this that TKLF stock, I'm just looking it up here. It's been halted forever, and it looks like it's an ADR. But it's done. It just opened back up here. There's like no liquidity or volume on this. I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what's going on. But that just opened up and got cut in half. So this is on 100%. I would not. I'm not trading the stock. I mean, spread is $2.50. Volume and liquidity is non-existent. I'll look into to see what exactly this is. It's trading. It looks like it's some kind of might be an IPO, but it is an ADR. So it might be an IDO. An IPO. Overseas. It got the ADR sort of listed. Sorry, the ADR is listed here today, and it trades over in Asia. But no volume. I would not be trading it because I don't think you can safely manage your risk on something like this TKLF. But thank you for the super chat there. It is already 10:40. That means it is time for Sector Watch. There's some blue on that screen, although that probably has to do with the deal today.
Hi, we'll just jump into things. How about that? Yeah, it's one of those days where finding what is strong might be the easier thing to do, and there it is. ATVI 27.5%, EA right below it 5.8%. Take Two is here as well, having a nice day. So outside of some of the communication services, everything else basically to the downside. It's worth mentioning Freeport, FCX, having a nice day, up 3%. This is the energy group down here in this corner, all about 2 or 3% in positive territory, along with crude oil. Everything else, though, pretty red, including Tech stock CTXS, there were some buyout rumors floating around in the pre-market on it, so still about 6% to the upside for CTXS. Hardware equipment makers, semiconductors, even the software makers, all lower. Banks are lower. That's Goldman, still 7.75. Was more than 8% at one point. MS 4.25%. We'll get them tomorrow before the market opens. Industrials, consumer discretionary, even the consumer durables like Lennar 4.8%, DHI. Some of the home builders that we saw even last week, very, very strong. Back to the downside. Hey, Tesla is positive. GM not so much, 3.4, 2.6 for Ford. So one of those days, widespread declines, guys, for the market. 1.4 right now for the S&P. Back to you.
Yes, sir. I did double check that. Like, yeah, the Yoshito Co. company is ADR listing new today at that right at 950. Just opened up for the first time. Like I said, no volume on it, not worth it in my opinion. It's a risk reward is. It's going to be tricky to manage. BBIG, right back to this $5 support area from before. I'm on the bid in front of it. If it takes it out, fair enough. It already broke one time here. I think as long as you're sort of having it out in every single trade, you can try scalping this within the range and holding out that it can still break the high, which it has done every single time. You know, the stock has managed to pull back and then retake those highs. We'll see if it can do it at the higher level today. That's going to be this 465 level at the first, the deepest dip, and now about that $5 in VWAP. I think they're both takeable, but it is a wick top. At some point, it's going to be, at some point, the stock is going to be a short. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. As strong as it has been, 560 was the first real level that I thought made any sense to me on the daily chart, and it got close enough to there that it's entirely possible that this could be it. Also watching that Neuro, which is still consolidating. Right off VWAP right here. If this is a 15, this is 1 minute, still consolidating. If this breaks back out, I am not holding this to high today. I will stop out just above $7 and look to see if I can re-engage at about $7.50. Those are the ones on the list. And of course, SRGA. If that gets back to $1, right now it's either it goes all the way to 80 cents or it comes all the way back, really only holding on to the last, like 5% of that position.
All right. Yeah, Neuro's a good little name there. Watch out for some of those levels breaking. We are going to get out of AMC right now. We're 50 cents in the money. If it breaks back above, we have a little key level right here, just that we've barcoded off of right here. So, hey, if it breaks back above like 1895, we're going to get out of AMC, but it's been absolutely destroyed. And we talked about this on the sticky note. When it gets in, get out ASAP. And that's, this is all these outs, man. Our best outs, 1925 on that first push. And then as it cranked lower, man, just started taking more and more out. And then we got, we were getting nervous when we got in the first time. But again, like we said, we were way oversized. It's the largest AMC position that I've taken in the last little while was this break. So when it went all the way to the downside, we were able to scalp that out. And then we just reloaded it as per usual, like we always do. Not always, but when we like it, we reload it. And then we're trying to diamond hands this a little bit. I think we've done pretty good on this one, all the way to the downside. Let's see how far it can hold. We diamond held DWAC, but right now this is coming all the way back in. So, hey, even if I lose on this trade, it was fun. We'll wait for DWAC to come back in here. And just to give you like an ultimate out, I'm not going to hold it all the way back down to 72. If we break below 79, guys, I think we can get out of that and then reload it if it breaks back through 80 again. So 79 out on DWAC. That's going to be our spot to get out on this trade, DWAC. We'll put the $5 in our pocket or $4 at that point if it does come out. So DWAC right there. And there goes AMC. Again, AMC, my number does AMD. AMC, my number one stock today as we get out as that starts to rip to the high side. So, hey, a lot of stocks are DWAC could be once we get out. But AMC, but biggest one realized right now. Only 3 positions left on board.
Yeah, and another one that's starting to get back into that upside, talking about this, that Alibaba testing 131, but Vinco Ventures, I wish this was real, that wick to the downside would have got filled in front of 5, but holding 515. What's significant about that is the original break at the open where it turned and we got the reload, that was exactly at 515. So another level holding up once again. We still like a break. I prefer the dip buy, but we still like a break up at the top. Those are both scalpable type of trades. But I think Brendan is ready. I think we got our guest of the day. This should be fun.
Yeah, we haven't had a guest trader on in quite some time, guys, but we are very excited to have Andrew Rader with us today to discuss not only his trading, but what is happening in general with the overall markets. At Raider Trader, you can check him out on Twitter, TikTok, huge following on TikTok, on Instagram as well. Anytime, guys, we can bring on Andrew and talk markets. There he is. Great to see you. Great to have you on the show, Andrew. Welcome.
Great to have me on.
It's an exciting week. Lots to trade, really, in general. I mean, give us a general rundown here about your approach to the market and what got you started in trading.
Yeah, absolutely. So right off the bat, what got me started was simply just a gateway to passion. When I first started my whole life, I was a straight A student, going through high school with a 4.0 GPA, and everyone telling me that I was going to be a great doctor my whole life. But I did not find myself going home and wanting to be a doctor, wanting to watch videos about it. And one day, my father just sat me down and introduced me to the markets. And from there, I just studied countless hours since then. And so my approach to the market through many mentors I've met through my life, I really focus a lot. I'm an options and equity trader, both long-term, but my approach is mainly with sector strength. So we look at a lot of different sectors from, energy and value, defensive growth, whatever we see a shift of money going into, we like to play. So recently it's been a lot of value as we've seen energy going crazy, as we've seen materials doing well just a few months ago.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year. A shift, it's worth mentioning, from what we saw at the end of last year compared to, the way this year has started. What are your thoughts, I guess, in general, on how, the Fed has treated the higher inflation, the reaction we've seen from growth stocks because of that, some, interest rates going to happen, interest rate hikes going to happen this year. How are you going to approach this new trading year as we head into week 3 now? It's hard to believe.
Right, absolutely. So our approach to this, my approach is that we're looking at anything. We think there's still some upside to this market. We think that there will just be a correction, but nothing like a recession that many people are fearing anytime soon. Our rule of thumb is typically anything when the Fed gets about 5% on those interest rate hikes, then we'll start to see that deeper pullback. But till then, we have a lot of positive outlook, a lot of optimism for a lot of these sectors.
There he is. Welcome, Andrew, to the program. Glad to have you on. It's been a
Neil,
while since
Sean.
we've been able to talk to some traders here. So I want to jump into just like specifics off the bat in terms of, you talked a little energy, you talked Fed, higher level. When it comes to your active trading, what symbols are you looking at? Anything caught your eye today? Obviously, we're getting volatility once again with the markets under some pressure, despite the little bounce we had in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, absolutely. So something caught my name. We're definitely Oxy. Once again, just another energy just gapping up huge. And then, of course, your banks. I think Citigroup got slaughtered this morning. It's kind of surprising with that as well. But yeah, so today also DWAC, we caught that as well. You guys, I saw you were looking at that this morning as well. Just an absolute arrow to the upside. But we got that above, I think, 75.50. So that was awesome. Also some Tesla, caught Tesla as well. Just seeing that strength in the NASDAQ initially and SPY running up that wick off that demand zone.
All right, come on, Andrew. What's up? It's Sean here.
What's up, Sean?
I don't know. Hopefully we can switch over to me. There it is. Hey, what's up, buddy? Look, you have DWAC long at 75.50. I mean, you're noticing my price here, 75.50. Tell everyone you're just taking all the trades off the sticky note. I mean,
you caught me red-handed there, Sean. It's just too much of a coincidence at this point, isn't it?
Good,
yeah,
man.
But
No,
awesome stuff, yeah.
So I have my own family, and I have a son that's 19 years old as well. I'm going to guess you're similar around that age?
Absolutely, yep, I'm 18.
Wow, absolutely fantastic. And I got to give a big credit to you. And you mentioned something that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is that your father was talking to you about trading and getting involved here. And I'm in a very, very similar situation. I actually have a 7-year-old, 9-year-old, and 19-year-old. And my 9-year-old has already bought shares in Roblox. So 9 years old. And I told him, I said, listen, man, you're like, I'm spending $12.99 or whatever it is a month to buy you 1,000 Robux, whatever the heck that is. So I'm going to invest in something like that. Is that a strategy that you do as well? Like, I used to always buy Starbucks, Target shares, things that like my wife spends a lot of money on. Is that something that you do? Because I feel like a new generation like you buy a lot of names that you're very, very familiar with, which was interesting that you mentioned oil. That's not like a sexy name, for traders in your age group. Do you kind of look at things that are popular amongst your peers?
Yeah, so that's funny that you actually say that because my dad called me when Roblox IPO'd, before it IPO'd, and he said, yo, do you know anything about Roblox? And of course, when I played Roblox, I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I was like, yeah, I know Roblox like that. I've been playing that since, I was a little kid and everything. And so what do you know? He picked some Roblox up at IPO. And of course, we've seen that recent run up. So congratulations to Pops there. But yeah, absolutely. The familiar names, guys, anything in your household is something that is obviously involved in probably the best chances, not just my life, right? If Roblox was me as a kid, how many other kids played Roblox, you know? So that's something definitely we look at. And, ExxonMobil, I'm a long-term equity holder of ExxonMobil because my family is a bunch of engineers. They do a lot of car fix-ups from Camaros to Dodge Challengers and Darts and stuff like that. They do body builds. So they're all about that oil, all about those parts. So, yeah.
Attaboy. Yeah, no, I like all those names. And I'm the same way, man. I've been starting to invest my own money since I've been about your age. And I have some of those dinosaurs as well, like XOM. I mean, my first Microsoft trade, believe it or not, I was long in the 30s on Microsoft. It's $300 today, right? So you're in the right spot. Keep investing and keep going, my friend, on all of this. But let me throw you, I don't know if you can screen share or not, but I'm going to go to DWAC right now, and maybe you can see my screen. Is there a target that you have right now on the upside? Because, I'm long here at 75.50. You keep mentioning that you're long there as well. And by the way, I'm long at 75.25. So in your face on that one right now as well. But as we go up to the upside here, $84. I mean, I'm looking at that on the 20-minute chart. We're way off. We have to go right back to when DWAC started to go ham initially on some levels to look at here. So what are you looking at for DWAC, just to give us some sort of an advice here on levels of concern for you?
Yeah, so I'm looking at around $85-ish, somewhere around there. I've already scaled out a little bit just to take some of those profits, take it off the table. But $85 is my main thing. The big telltale sign that I want to keep seeing is that momentum. We've broken huge momentum levels here. So obviously to get out now is a little bit, 100% out at least is a little bit of a scaredy cat play in my book. I'm still looking for that $85-ish target.
Yeah, okay. I'm still at 85 as well. I'm going to pass you over. Thank you so much. I mean, great talk there. And, I hope you share your experiences you've had with all of your media, with our media and stuff like that, because it's been a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sean.
No problem. Anything, Neil?
Yeah, great job, Andrew. I mean, I just want to thank you so much. I love the fact that you already had a target in mind with DWAC, and it's just, look, 85 sort of stands out. I think a lot of shorts are going to be looking at that. Before we get you out of here, can you just quickly talk a little bit about your process? Because I know every single trader, the first thing you do when you come in, it's like there's so much moving in the markets. What do you do when you sit down at the station before you make a trade? Like, what is your quick little process before I throw you back to Brendan?
Yeah. Absolutely. So my target, and this is my suggestion to a lot of you viewers out there, is instead of waking up early and worrying about what's going on in the market, do a lot of work the night before. All of my charts and most of my charting is charted out the night before, aside from the news catalyst. And so that way, when I wake up, all my charts, all my levels are there. So I don't have the stress of time bearing my mental game down. So every morning I wake up fresh. I'm looking at my charts. I'm looking at the news, but mainly I'm also looking at a lot of that sector strength, right? A tool that we use is RRG charts. So we do sector, relative rotation graphs, they're called. That's where we kind of do a lot of our research based off of and stuff like that. So if you guys want to check that out, I believe you can find that on some websites such as stockcharts.com, something like that. But just go check that out, and it's worth valuable. But I would keep in mind, guys, that trading is your mind. You are your greatest enemy against yourself. So having that mental stress of, the market opens in an hour is not going to be healthy for you to chart out these levels and see the story of each stock.
Yeah, I love it. Don't want to be rushed. Don't want to be freaking out. You want to have a plan, trade that plan. Love the process. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's a lot of fun to talk to traders here. Something we haven't done in a while. Look forward to doing it again, Andrew.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
There he is, Andrew Rader. Give everyone your social media handles. You have quite a few with quite the following. So if anyone's wondering, give them what they need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Rader Trader, just RADER Trader. That's my last name in case you guys couldn't pick up on that. So yeah, you can find me there, Instagram, TikTok. I do post videos about twice a day, every single day. And so you guys can find, I'm sure, some valuable content. Connect with me on there.
Great stuff. Love the positivity, love the energy, love the passion for the market. Andrew Rader, hope you'll do this again very soon. Good to have you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Brendan.
Have a great
one. Thank you so much, guys.
There he is, Andrew Rader, guys.
Rader, Trader. Yeah, no, great little segment there. And, you know, I'm going to try to push to have him on as a regular guest. I was going to ask him that, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And I always like to hear, you know, a different perspective. And that's why I always say about, you know, talking with my family and friends and things like that is that you know, we're old men here. So it's great to hear, you know, a new perspective, see where maybe new money's flowing to and some of those new ideas. The future's bright if everyone thought like that guy.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's all about that new perspective. Every trader can learn from each other, and certainly, you know, there's always something to be gleaned from the process. Even if it's like different symbols, even if it's different style of trading, there's always something that you can learn from, and we want to take advantage of that. That's one of the reasons why, and like, oh, in 3 minutes, you guys are going to be heading to Trader Pratt to see what he's looking at this morning. There's no shortage of stocks on the move, of course. Watching DWAC continue to, it's holding this high, man. It's just, it's kind of barcoding. I kind of thought we were about to test. I was geared up. I was about to retest this top, and I would try to jump into a short. Then it faded off of 825. It kind of stinks because you're not pulling back into VWAP and you're not getting towards that high. I think it's a bit of a trap in the middle of the range, risk to reward. But yeah, Trader Pratt should be an exciting afternoon. It's been a wild start to the week. I think we're going to get some serious volatility. That's the benefit of having Fed move markets, is you get volatility every day. Brendo.
Okay, let's get you set for what is to come after market tonight and tomorrow morning. I think most of these are actually tomorrow morning, guys, but we'll get into some bigger names later in the week as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, you talk about the banks a little bit there, but there is actually one name that isn't a bank that should be interesting. Well, two. ASML and United Health there. United Health been a fantastic runner, but starting to get under pressure as even some of the healthcare stocks have been pulling back. And ASML is just an absolute beast. But, you know, you've seen some of those chip suppliers or chip equipment companies start to come back under pressure. I know they've been pulling back a little bit, and ASML earnings should be big.
Yeah, I was looking at, I mean, I just saw the banks there. I didn't look at anything else other than that. And we've been talking about selling the banks for a long time. I'm way underweighted banks. So now it's a good opportunity to pick some up. Like, wow, talk about a depressed asset right now. Everyone was like, buy banks, they're the greatest ever. And then right now you're getting it well down, man. JP Morgan down to 150 right now from 170. What is Morgan touching 94 now maybe as well? Yeah, 94 now for Morgan Stanley. So, I mean, the writing was on the wall to take these all out. I do have a different opinion on energy though, but for banks, this was a pretty easy one. So we'll see tomorrow when they come through. BAC, that's a name that we haven't talked about. I don't think that's pulling back as much. Okay, still down 2.4. We won't be able to see much here on the chart, but BAC, yeah, BAC is the one I think that's doing, guys, you're all the same. Like 50 down to 47 is the same as 100 down to 92 there for, or 93, sorry, for Morgan. So, yeah, they're all in trouble, but who's not in trouble right now is Miss V. What kind of a day you got for us?
Hey guys, thank you so much for starting this trading day with us. I hope you're all doing great. And please make sure you like this video. We need just 100 more likes to get to 2,000. And only you trading community can help us. So please go along on the like button, join Prad and me right after to continue trading together. And happy National Peking Duck Day, everyone.
Peking Duck?
Yep.
Okay, that'll work. I mean,
we're down with that. Yeah, we have a great Peking duck place right here, right across the street from us. I don't know if it's one of the better ones in Toronto, but it's absolutely fantastic. So I don't know. No dine-in is open, but maybe take out. Yeah, maybe. And yeah, the kids are off again today. Snow day. So they're finally getting close to going back into school, and then they got snow dayed out. So today, shout out to all my, well, I think they're actually watching. So shout out to my kids. They're at home. Keep your nose in your book. Actually,
isn't it homeschooling today?
No,
today online today, don't they?
No, they don't have anything. That's what I was going to say. Nah, today is just straight go nuts. There's actually no schooling today. So, yeah, so guys, don't keep your nose in the book and go to the park, which was a fun day yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you could try tobogganing, I mean, we got dumped on so much, like, you couldn't even, it was so thick, you couldn't even toboggan because it was just, it was absolute insanity. But hopefully.
It was that light snow, it wasn't packing.
It was not packing snow. I explained that to my daughter. She's like, we're going anyway. So that was like climbing Mount Everest. But it's been a fantastic show. Ms. V just made the run. That means we're sending you to Market Movers with Trader Prad and Ms. V. Go get them.
Welcome to Market Movers. Hope everyone had a great weekend, a great long weekend. I'm your host,
Yes,
Brad. This is the
sir.
beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad, and hey guys, thank you very much for joining us. Finally, trading is back. It was a long weekend, as Prad said. I hope you all enjoyed and ready to rock and roll. Please, as usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and smash the like button. Right, Prad, how's your trading going?
It's been a roller coaster, something similar to the games that Activision makes. So as you guys can see, we can my Stream Deck's not on because my Stream